Hello and welcome back to the UAE Hike&Fly Championship here in the United Arab Emirates. As usual, I'm Fiore and here's Nick,
Task 3 today.
right? We are in Jebel in the al-Khaima Emirate, and today it definitely looks more like a normal Dubai day, right? I mean, weather-wise and
There's
heat-wise.
there's still a few clouds around, but they're looking pretty friendly at the moment. They're above the peaks and there's not a lot of vertical development, so I think there might be showers, but probably not on this side of the border.
Yeah, it definitely looks very different from yesterday. Um, I'm just reminding you that yesterday we had to cancel the task due to bad weather. Like quite a lot of storms were moving around, and so after the actually halfway on the first hike, some pilots did reach the first takeoff. Some pilots were still on the hike, and the race committee decided to stop the race, freezing the ranking in that moment in time. But today looks like a total different story, and hopefully we're gonna have a complete task.
Yeah, I talked to one of the athletes yesterday and I said, "Did you hear thunder before they cancelled the task?" And she said, "Yeah, a lot." And every time I heard thunder, I walked a little bit slower up the hill.
Exactly, they were expecting that. In the meantime, we can see at the starting line. I mean, we're talking to you from the finish line, so this is where we're gonna be waiting for the athletes to arrive at the end of the race. But from the starting line, you can see the athletes are getting ready. Everything is rolling, and we're gonna get information soon. But I guess the race will start very, very soon.
Yeah, it'd be a really long walk up to the first turn point from here, but they get to start halfway up the hill, which is handy, but it's still a pretty hot and sweaty hike up the hill.
Yeah, talking about the task today, you can see here the athletes will start halfway, as Nick was saying. They will have to hike along the road. They can take a couple shortcuts at some points uh, until they reach the first turn point, which is the actual top of the mountain here in Jebel Jais. They will then have to take off from there, tag a cylinder turn point not too far away, and land back at the start. At this point, they have two options. Either hike up again to the second turn point, the second takeoff, turn point four at this point, or they can even take off from the start. It's launchable and try and fly up to the second takeoff, top land, and then start again. And then it's going to be not really a glide. It's going to be like a short XC flight to the finish line where we are waiting for them.
Yeah, it's pretty close to being able to do it on the glide, but it just depends on the conditions that you get, whether you want to get a bit of extra height or take the risk and just go for it.
Yeah. And speaking of the conditions, the wind looks pretty mild at the moment, at least here where we are. And so the forecasts are calling for a little bit of a stronger gusts around midday, but hopefully there will be no issue for these pilots.
Yeah, last time I was doing this task 2 years ago, the same task, and up high there was some wind coming over the back, so tailwind towards the finish, and it meant that when we got to the first turn point, we would fly from that side, uh, facing the wind. But some people took off in the lee on the sunny side, and they could glide straight to the goal. Whereas we had to get a little bit of height to clear the mountain and then dive over the back. Yeah, it could be similar conditions today with the winds up above, but down below here in the valley, the wind is pushing up towards the mountain.
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking at a slide north wind on the top, looks like, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah, well, northwest or
yeah,
something,
northwest.
west,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, looks like the athletes are more or less ready.
Yep. Yeah, and as well, one new thing about this year is that there are two categories in the race. There's the pro category, and you can see the athletes are wearing a red t-shirt. And then there is the challenge category, athletes with a white t-shirt that are doing a slightly different and shorter task, but still enjoying the experience of flying here in the Emirates and racing uh, side to side with the pros. As you can see, it's this race is a lot about having fun and media and pictures. These guys, there's a lot of local pilots as well in the challenge category, right? People who live here in the Emirates.
Yeah, I've met at least one who lives here, and there's one from nearby Saudi Arabia. Yeah, there's pilots from all over, really. Yeah.
Yeah,
The typical desert haze in the distance.
yep,
It's quite a nice view here from the landing as well. We're surrounded by craggy ridges in pretty much every direction. Yeah, one of the ridges is where they fly past on like setting themselves up for a final glide.
yeah. We can basically see the whole final ridge, almost all of it, right?
Yeah, I believe it's this one up here. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. The antenna is right over there. I mean, you can all see look at the flags, but yeah. A nice hero shot for our local hero here. Yeah, and again, today as well, I think, I mean, all the technical side is working pretty smoothly. So, um, hopefully, if the signal is good enough in these remote mountains, then we will be able to provide definitely a high quality content for this live.
Yeah, so we're located roughly 25 kilometers north of where we did the task yesterday. And I think that this site is more scenic with the craggy ridges. The border of Oman is not so far away. You have to make sure you don't fly there because we don't want any trouble with the authorities.
Right.
Don't want
Yeah.
anyone getting shot down.
Especially given the difficult international situation around this area of the world.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, the board is actually really close. It's like the highest range we're going to be flying from. The others are going to be flying from. That's basically just one ridge after. It's a border. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, it's an easy cross-country flight to get over there for sure. But
for
on a
sure.
day like today, it looks great. The clouds are above the hills, so you could get up high and go over there, but you're not allowed to do that.
Definitely not.
Yeah, we've got the background behind us is away from the task area.
Yeah,
There's still
exactly.
some craggy ridges, but
Yeah,
the best view is in the other direction.
yeah, yeah. We're basically right here. We're pretty much at the end of the valley where the race will be taking place. And so on our back, you can see the last bit of the ridges, and then the flat goes all the way to the seaside, basically.
So up there is the task, and over there, not very far away, is the ocean. But between us and the ocean is a ridge,
Yeah.
a low rocky ridge. Yeah, it was pretty cool flying here. I found the conditions last time were really nice, gentle conditions. This is a time of year where there's shorter days and it should be a bit more relaxed flying than in the summer. I would hate to fly and be far too hot then, I think. But yeah, you could see views of the rocky peaks stretching into the distance, hundreds and hundreds of kilometers down along the Oman border. And although not that you could see that far because of the haze, but you could also see the beach quite close in al-Khaima.
Nice.
Pretty nice spot.
And we're still waiting for some info from the starting place to when the race will actually start. But it must be anytime really soon. Yeah, and again, yesterday and the day before, we experienced a very, very weird climate situation for this place. I've heard it only rains around 10 to 15 days per year, and we get to see two of them in a row.
So one of the athletes, he landed a bit later than the others. Like after the task had finished, he flew down when it was safe to do so. And he actually hitchhiked back to catch up with us. And he said he talked to, well, the locals was very hospitable. They took them to his house, gave him drinks, did all this extra things for him, and then brought him up to us. But he explained that all the cars that were going up the valley where we had lunch, and they were all going up because they wanted to see, like the wadis. Most of the wadis or valleys around here are dry, but when there's a thunderstorm, there's a chance that you can get a flash flood. So they're all up there hoping to see that. And yeah, really, where we were, even though there was rumbles of thunder almost all the time, there was only a few drops of rain, really. Like
Yeah,
in the morning, we had drops on the windscreen, but not enough to get the window wipers out. And maybe if you're in the right place, you would have had a heavier downpour, but I don't think we had enough to sort of, wet the ground really. But yeah, just a few showers coming through here and there.
yeah, true. And we're still waiting for some signal, for video signal from the top. Again, we are in one of the probably the most remote places in the country right now, close to the border and in between mountains, and so um, signal is not the best. But again, as soon as we have more images from the top, we're going to be showing to you.
So the cumulus have spread a little bit further away, apart from just a few smaller ones on the higher peaks, but they're still looking like very good flying cumulus. Like there's not a lot of vertical development. Yeah, no shower risk in the immediate future anyway.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a very good day so far. All right, and we can see the athletes are getting ready now, and they're probably going to line up soon under the starting line. We can see the winds there. It's probably a little bit stronger than here. Again, the starting line is also a takeoff place. So once the athletes will have reached the first turn point, flown through the second turn point cylinder, and then landed back at the start where they have to sign a board, they might decide to instead of walking up again, they might decide to actually take off from the starting line and try and thermal up to the 2.4 from where they will have then to glide or I mean to fly to the finish line.
So when I did this task 2 years ago, I think the conditions were fairly similar, except we didn't have any clouds the whole week. Uh, so when we flew back to the start, and then you had to find a thermal. And I believe the winners, they just quickly packed and hiked up the hill, and that was actually faster in
Yeah,
that case, but
yeah,
it was pretty close.
it was pretty close, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're fast-paced tasks here. It's not about like a long cross country and choosing a route. It's more about being quick with packing your glider, being quick with setting up, flying, and yeah, making fast decisions and just being ahead of the next guy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the whole race is made of pretty short tasks where, of course, it's closer to a sprint than to a marathon, so to say. And so small decisions can make a huge difference. And as well, of course, the running performance has a great impact on the overall result. And the athletes are lining up right now, so the race must be starting anytime soon. cameras are positioning, getting ready. Very good. Yeah, so I guess we lost signal again from on camera on the top on a takeoff on a starting line, but hopefully we'll manage to get some footage as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
they must be starting soon. It's
yeah,
wandering around up there. It looked like they weren't too far away. But
yeah. Yeah, in the meantime, as usual, I always remind you guys to follow us on Instagram at UAE Hike&Fly Championship to be sure to make sure to be updated on everything that's happening here in the race camp during race days and outside of days of race days. Um, you're gonna have a straight peek into what athletes are doing here in Dubai, so it's also gonna be fun. And as well, we did have a slight change of plans for the next days. Tomorrow it's going to be. Oh, in the meantime, the race started. You can see the athletes running. We got image back from the top. So this is the very first bit of the athletes running up the hill. You can see white t-shirts and red t-shirt mixed together, the two categories. Some people are taking it slow. Some people are going a little bit faster. Everyone has his own strategy. We can't wait to watch it live tracking to see how the athletes are. Some are even hiking with no t-shirt, which is it's an interesting decision because with these heat, I mean, your body has to dissipate a lot of heat, especially going to be sweating a lot. And I think wearing a good t-shirt is helping in keeping your shadow on your keeping shadow on your skin. And you can see some people decided straight away to take a shortcut through the rocks, while some others decided to be running along the road.
yeah, one of the shortcuts I took to save walking on the road last time involved a short amount of rock climbing. It was probably not the smartest way to go, but usually there's culverts for floodwaters that you can walk up,
Yeah.
which are fairly steep, but it's firm concrete surface. It's not too bad.
And we can see from the relief map app and live tracking that the group is split into two parts as we were looking in the cameras. Some are going on the road, some are going up on a shortcut already. Yeah, this shortcut looks like it makes a lot of sense as the road is winding quite, on a longer route than this uphill shortcut.
I mean, that's what happens in a normal paragliding competition is where you push out ahead, you can just be a marker for the people behind. So maybe if you're walking up the hill, you can be a little bit behind and see which way people go. But I guess you don't know if it's a good way or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you're in the air, there's not really any need for that. You just got to glide past to the next turn point because you don't need to cover any distance cross country really.
Yeah. And especially on these shorter routes, I mean, there's not many choices you can make, but this is the perfect example of one of them. Going on the road or taking a shortcut can make a huge difference at the end.
You see a few cumulus clouds over the back there.
Yeah. And apart from that, yeah, pretty clear sky. It really looks like a very good day. So, who we have here? We see Paul Guschelbauer is probably leading on the road. And then we have Aaron on a second shortcut. They were studying the route really well. This looks like Gabriel from Brazil taking a third different shortcut. So you can see now the group is split into four different sections. Most of the guys are going on the first and steepest shortcut. and you can see the athletes crawling up the hill now. I mean, I don't know if the video shows it well, but it is quite steep, right? I mean, you did it 2 years ago. The shortcuts are quite
Well,
steep.
yeah, I guess you can look at the zigzags and see it. Well, the road's a gentle slope, but yeah, going up the culverts, it was fairly steep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if it was loose rock, I'd be a bit worried about knocking some rocks over and slipping around. But yeah, in the concrete culverts, it's pretty safe, but it's fairly steep. Yeah.
And in the meantime, we can remind you that we have Aaron Durgati leading the current ranking as he won both of the tasks. The first one held in Dubai on the Atlas Beach Resort, and the second one held yesterday. Well, half of it, but it still counts. Held in Jebel.
Yeah, we took the placings of wherever they were when we stopped the
Oh,
task. So he was charging up the hill, and he did fly down, but that was outside the task, and it was just because he was already up there and he didn't want to walk.
yeah. Yeah, nobody likes to walk downhill. And
Yeah,
then we have Nicola Heringer, followed by Remy Bodel. So this is the first uh, three position so far in the overall ranking. So we will see what happens today.
how's our cameraman going? They've walked into a dodgy reception zone, have they?
Yeah, I mean, on the way to the tops, there are definitely some places where we have a quite a back signal, but hopefully once they reach a more open area, we will have the signal back again. And you can see the first two groups of athletes almost reaching the second turn of the road.
Is that Paul Gushelbauer
Yeah,
right there?
yeah, that's Paul Buschbauer on the right,
Okay, so he's hit the road.
on a solitary run.
Hmm.
But maybe he saw a different possibility of cutting somewhere else.
Maybe he's
And
going to go up the river,
yeah,
fill up his 3 litre water bottle.
exactly. One of the requirements for this task was to carry at least 2 liters of water because, I mean, we are shaded now, we're in a nice breezy place, but to be hiking in this heat, it's really demanding for your body. And so this guy definitely need to rehydrate constantly to keep hydrated.
Yeah, in the June task, there was people carrying lots of sand, so you get some extra weight to make the wings fly faster.
True. I mean, on a dune task, you will carry sand even if you don't want to in your shoes, even if in your underwear, I guess.
Yeah, I want to see if Paul goes all the way back along that zigzag. Like that's a long run, but he might just cut up, I
Yeah.
don't know, up the gully somehow.
And of course, we remind you that this live tracking is brought to you by Relief Maps, and that if you want to follow this from your home, you can click on the link down in the description of this video and access the direct live streaming. The link will be the same for the whole race, so any task, you can just click on the same link and access the beautiful 3D terrain reconstruction that Relief Maps is providing. We're still out of cameras so far, but hopefully they will be back soon. But in the meantime, we can definitely uh, take advantage of the live tracking app and see what the athletes are doing, even from here. And the first two packs are kind of getting back together. I see the usual faces up there, Aaron, Nicola, and Rami. They're definitely uh, dominating this hiking part, which was nothing but expected.
You know, I only just thought of it now, but I guess you could probably just fly from the very start and try to fly up the hill instead of running up, or
I
have to
I think
hit the
the
road.
first run was compulsory. They had to run up.
Okay.
It was not allowed to take up from the start. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Otherwise it would just be a flying task, probably today. Yeah.
Well, it's a bit risky because it takes a while, but
Yeah,
yeah, I think I'd give it a go.
yeah. And I think Paul has found a different shortcuts right there. You can see he got off the road.
And who's this other guy in the middle there? Is that
Yeah, that's Gabriel from Brazil.
all right?
And here you can see where they need to hike to turn point one. That's up there. So you see our racing arena today is, I mean, not small, but it's all in the same valley. So you can see turn point one, and now actually they're hiking, and they can see above their heads turn point four, which is the last turn point they need to hit before the finish line.
Yeah. So turn point two is a cylinder which they tag in the air before they land at turn point three to sign the
Yeah,
board.
exactly. You can see it somewhere right there. Yeah, it's not far. It's not too close. It's quite far away. You can see on the far right of the screen, this is the cylinder they need to tag. So they're taking off from turn point one. I think they need to climb a little bit in order to make the turn point and land back. I don't think you can do that in a glide. I mean, the task was it's exactly the same as 2 years ago, so you did it. So maybe you know better.
Yeah. I mean, I just got a little bit of height soaring, and then we got a few turns in a weak thermal during the glide, but uh, yeah, it was a marginal glide, but I think you could more or less do it on the glide from memory.
All right, and we can see yeah, Paul is on his own route as well as Gabriel. I think they both made some smart moves because well, Paul I think his Paul went quite a long way but didn't climb much, whereas Gabriel found a bit of a more direct route probably. But of course, you can see Aaron is now leading
He's
the
going to get there before Gabriel does
yeah
to that point
probably
in the
yes.
road. Yep.
He must be running now, which he doesn't like. It's interesting to see all the different choices, and I mean, thanks to this nice live tracking, we can actually see live which choice is paying better. Moment of truth, but looks like the whole head pack of the first group will make it to the same point as Gabriel before him.
It looks like he's had to go in a slight downhill part of the road before meeting up with that culvert.
Yeah, yeah, the guys are going fast right now, so they must be running. Yeah,
So
full.
Aaron's again close to the front.
Yeah,
He's
for sure.
he's taking this pretty seriously. It's
I I
pretty
think
fast.
it's I think it's very determined this time. I mean, he wants to win this.
Yeah, mostly the tasks haven't involved much flying. I mean, the skyscraper task, there was a flight, but it was just top to bottom. So it's really how fast you can pack the wing and how quick you can
Yeah,
hike up the hills. And yeah, this one is pretty similar. It just depends whether they hike up the hill or fly up after tagging the turn point at the start.
yeah, true. I think that's the main decision point of the task, right?
Hmm.
And again, Paul is on his own solo journey to the turn point.
Yeah. Wonder if he's bumped into any goats so far.
Right. Yeah, I guess the whole head pack has now took over Gabriel. Of course, we have Aaron, we have uh, Remy Burdel, we have Damien Lacaze, we have Thomas Matera, and I assume also Nicola Heringer, Noah Court, and Maurice Kohler as well. Yeah, all the skinny guys, the runners are there in the back.
It seems to be a bit closer than yesterday's task, but I guess it's just early days still. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the first minutes, but as well, probably this is, yesterday was a bit steeper, so that's why
Yep.
maybe the slower ones were falling a little further back behind. Yeah, we say slower, but I mean, all these guys here are fast because they're all really top athletes in general, and of course, really, really good pilots as well. We still have, unfortunately, no live view from the racetrack at the moment, but again, I would say that Relief Map is doing a good job in filling the gap so far. Yeah, now all of the athletes reached the road up the two first turns, except Paul, which has taken a different route, different road. Possibly he will meet the group somewhere after this flatter part.
So at the height the athletes are at now, I would say that they're probably getting light breezes up the hill on the sunny slopes, and also some belly wind. We saw the wind streamer at the start. But as you get nearer the top, I remember there was a few flags that showed the wind was from the other side, from the northwest, and they'll have to decide which side they take off on when they get up there. Here we've got some footage.
Yeah, we got some footage. I think this is the take. Oh no, you can see the people walking up now. Yeah, on the in the distance. So this must be at the end of some shortcut. And let's see what the situation is looking like now from the live tracking. Yeah, we definitely have the head group really tight together. They have 7 kilometers left to the top and 500 meters elevation. So they're not even close to halfway. Almost halfway. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think last time Tongi was one of the first ones to take off, and I
Yeah.
remember I was still hiking up the road and he was flying above the mountain.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are fast, and sometimes if you get left behind just 10 minutes behind, these guys are already in the air and ready firming up and gaining their advantage for the rest of the race.
Well, Paul hasn't been overtaken yet, but he's a bit lower.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I would say he's in a good position, but definitely a little bit lower. Yeah, but I mean, the race looks really tight so far. The group is pretty much evenly spread on the road. There are no big gaps at the moment.
So it looks like Remy's up there near the front, Aaron's in front there. I suppose we
Yeah,
could expect the same old crew. Is Lars there? Is
yeah.
Nicola?
It's Aaron, Thomas Matera, Remy Bodel, and Damien Lacaz.
Oh, yep.
Yep, and Nicola Henninger as well. Henninger as well. Mhm. And we still haven't thanked you guys for being here and watching this live, or depending on when we're watching this after the race. It means a lot to us that I know we are putting all of our effort in delivering the best quality content as we can. We're still waiting for some live footage from the road in the top. Again, we are in one of the most remote places of the country right now, and so the signal is kind of coming and going. But we are equipped with the best tools to have the maximum bandwidth and line to try and stream as much as we can from the race court. And together with Relief Maps, which is providing really fast, really precise live tracking, I would say it's enough to try and tell the story of what's happening here. So moment of truth again is near. We'll see if Paul made the smart move. It looks like he's a little bit far left behind, right?
Oh, he's lower, but yeah, I mean,
It's a bit lower.
I think he was in the top 10 with the run up the hill yesterday, but yeah,
Yeah,
so he's strong on the ground. But yeah, I suppose it's important in this race to be quick up the hill.
yeah.
Yeah, I wonder where he's going to go next. If he's going to follow the road for a bit or just cut up to
I
the
think
road where it is on
I
the top.
think everybody will try and cut here on the next turn because it would make it way longer to go back to the next road turn.
Well, it's the kind of terrain where you're not going to get lost in the forest, but they're pretty sharp rocks. If you have to land there, you got
Yeah.
to be really careful with the glider. I remember flying with one of the athletes last time, Nicola, and his wing was flapping around, and I thought he'd had some kind of, you know, collapse and the tip got cravated and it couldn't get out, but in fact he'd broken a line and it was just flapping around because of that. Yeah, you got to be careful on these launches. It's a pretty hostile environment for the wings, but there's launch options up the top. You can launch off the road. I mean,
Yeah.
depending on the conditions, that's what we did last time. So yeah, that way you're not gonna get your lines caught on the sharp rocks.
Yeah, I think on his flight yesterday, Aaron, he broke a couple lines, 3 lines on it during takeoff. Yeah.
Luckily, he's got a good sponsor.
Yeah. I mean, luckily enough to repair, I mean, to change a short line is not a big deal. So you can do it. I mean, these guys can do that, can do it even here.
I heard them having a conversation about, you know, having a good glider, and it's not necessarily the brand, but each glider is a tiny bit different, and then they could be tuned to be a tiny bit fast or like really subtle tuning of the line lengths to change the shape of the wing. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like in some of these competitions, they're racing as big gaggles, and if you can just get be a tiny bit faster than the others, or you can climb better, it makes all the difference.
Yeah. But that's why it's, I mean, it's of course forbidden to make any changes to the ladder. So we must say that. And as well, I think in some, and I don't know if they do it in all races, but in some for sure, they definitely have a equipment check where they check your glider compared to the official line length and
Yeah,
check that you're within a certain uh,
there's a
range.
tolerance,
Yeah,
but even then, like you buy the glider new from the factory, and some fly slightly better than others, just because I guess the way they're sewn or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, these machines are very, very complex to build, and so the precision required is very, very high in general. And even the slightest difference can, especially on the high performance wing, of course, they can make a whole difference in the final performance. And I guess we can officially say that the head pack has taken over Paul Guschelbauer, but he's definitely very close to them. So his move was definitely not too bad. Let's see if Noah Court will be able to pass Howell as well, or if they will be side to side for for the rest of the climb. I think I'm looking at a shortcut just after the first road turn. Is that a goat in the distance or a dog?
Yep, there's
Hard
a
to say.
goat near
It's
the
a goat,
road
yeah,
where we
yeah.
are at the finish. Yeah, there's quite a few in the hills, and doesn't look like there's a lot for them to eat, but we know that goats eat anything, so there
Yeah.
you go.
Just a couple dry or dried bushes, and they're happy. I think only goats and camels can live in this environment, and lizards maybe. And here we are. Let's see what the athlete's going to be doing after this turn, if they are going to make the turn or
Oh,
if
they're
they
going straight up, aren't they?
left.
Not doubling back.
Yeah. Again, you can see the road will be much, much longer. So this was the place to find a shortcut for sure. Buongiorno.
Up they go.
Yep.
Who's coming last?
Let's see. Yeah, I think it's Vesso. Yeah, Vesso is always taking it
So,
easy on the hikes.
so he is obviously the smartest one then.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't want to suffer too much. And yeah, let's see. Let's see the underdogs here. We have Melina, we have Moreno from Italy, we have Seb Ospina from Colombia, um, we have Eli Egger, and then Yuji from Japan, and Nicola Donini. So all the Italian teams here in the back. Well, we know, and Pauline Müller from Germany, Reto Reiser, and Gabriel. That's where he settled after his smart first move. He's pretty much in the half of the group. Peter Bergdold, another skinny guy, Daniel Oberauer, and then the first head back has taken a little bit of an advantage above the others, ahead of the others. We're still waiting for some live footage from the road or hopefully from the takeoff, but I'm sure we're gonna get some of it when the guys get higher up.
They're in the wilderness out there.
Yeah.
Just going to try and find my track from last time to see if what route I took.
They're not far, but there's still quite a way to go, until 10.1. I think they hiked more than, I mean, almost all the elevation, more than half. They still have 4 kilometers to go
400 meters.
and 400 meters elevation. All right. Yeah. They're now the first add-on is in first position at 1,200 meters, and they're definitely hiking on the steep part as they're going around 3 to 4 kilometers per hour. As you can see, the other uh, pack took a different route. They found a different cut before the end of the road.
Yeah, where the main, well, the mid pack is going is where I went up
Okay.
2 years ago. And it was further up the hill that I took the route, which needed a few rock climbing moves.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tricky terrain.
yeah, just dodgy, shitty rock. But
Yeah.
used to that from New Zealand. Most of the rocks are falling to pieces. Like, yeah, well, they call them wheat picks over there, the rocks.
How do you call it?
Wheat picks.
Whip hicks.
Yeah, just like lots of shards that are
Yeah.
broken and falling to pieces in your hands.
And again, today it's looking much more like a typical Emirates day with temperatures around 31 degrees. Even if it's, I mean, it's 11 o'clock now, so um, we expect the temperature to be rising a couple degrees more in the next couple hours for sure.
Yeah, the sun is highest in the sky roughly around midday with sunrise at around 6:30 and sunset around 5:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I can tell you, I was going for a run yesterday evening, and I started with like daylight, and after it was super, it was really quick. I mean, the sun goes down really quick, and it gets dark super quick as well.
Yeah, basically the closer you are to the equator,
Yeah.
the quicker it happens. Yep.
And let's see what the two groups are at. The head pack almost made it to the top road, and the mid group is following shortly behind.
I guess Paul's in with the head pack now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's somewhere around seventh position, I guess. Yeah. Adam just made it to the road, and now it's going to be a quite a fast run to the next shortcut to reach turn point one. It's just up there on the top of the mountain.
Our cameramen are lost in the wilds. By the looks of it.
Yeah, we did have them back for one of them back for a split second, but now it's lost again.
Yep. We've got the view is the frame is frozen on the wheel of some car.
Yeah, they're moving. They're moving.
Oh, okay.
They're trying to keep up with the athletes, which are, I mean, of course, the athletes are taking shortcuts, so the cars are trying to keep up with them. And again, thank you very much to you guys that are watching this live. I mean, I know we started pretty early Europe time today, so uh, we're happy to see that at least a few of you guys put their alarm clock on just to watch us today. And again, yeah, this is the slower phase of the race, of course, as the guys are running. But not too late from now, they will start taking off. The weather looks still promising, so I'm sure they will get to fly and to fly fast. We know Aaron, and I mean some of these guys are really fast flyers. Definitely Aaron, definitely Seb. I mean he's more into the cross country scene, so he's definitely used to cross country racing and fast flying. Nicola Donini as well. I know also Vezo has been doing some high level cross country competition recently. Eliager as well. So we definitely have a lot of very fast and good flyers in the group here. Not only very tough athletes and very experienced adventurers, but also really top level flyers. I mean, this is what I Can Fly is all about at the end. Huh? I mean, being fit and being a fast flyer and making a smart decision in the middle.
Yeah, I guess it can be lots of different things, but yeah, these tasks are racing tasks.
Yeah. And as we speak, we can see almost all the head group made it to the top road, as well as the middle group going up. Only a few of the athletes are still on the lower part of the road. And we're still waiting and hoping for some live footage from the top, uh, but uh, but hopefully later on from the turn points we'll have more of that. And as I'm saying it, there we go. We have it. Let's see if we
Oh,
can try to understand who.
found some trees.
Yeah, we don't expect that, huh? This looks like Moreno Parmesan, maybe? Yeah. I mean, from the pink socks, it looks like him, or it could be Michael Ritchie as well. Yeah, Michael Ritchie. That's him.
So he's from the northern side of Switzerland.
Yep. He's an organizer of a few other hike and fly races as well in Switzerland. very, very beautiful ones, like the Eiger Tour.
Yeah, the Eiger Tour is a nice format. Basically, they have a list of Swiss alpine huts that they have to go between, and they take off and land at each one, which is the tricky part of the race.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe after a dozen huts or whatever the task they set, they have to do them all in that order, and then yeah, that's the race.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's in a very, very beautiful alpine place in the middle of Switzerland, and it's a tough race for sure. It's unsupported, so the artists have to carry all of their necessities with them. So your backpack ends up being quite more heavy than on other races where you have a support team.
Yeah, I
And
think paragliding is a sport like a lot of people that are paragliding are just trying to do the biggest distance flights, but really being able to take off and land in interesting locations is one of the advantages of the sport. You can't exactly do that with an aircraft.
yeah,
Take off from a road or a rock. So yeah, that's why I like these hike and fly races.
yeah,
There's a
and
bit more of a wider range of skills that you can bring to it.
definitely. And you can see the athletes running. We are here at Jebel's viewpoint, and the first group has now only 3 kilometers left and 300 meters of elevation before reaching the very top. And here we can see a mix of the pro athletes together with the challenge athletes. Um, we just saw the winner of yesterday's challenge task from Iran, trying to remember his name, Moshed. Yeah, his Mr. Moshen Mansouri, and he also was the assistant on takeoff on the first task on a building. He was the guy who
Ah,
made it possible for everybody to take off.
hmm.
He did an amazing job. So the first guy of the challenge is 1 kilometer behind, only 1 kilometer behind the behind Aaron, which is currently leading the pro category group. And as we speak, the guys are rushing. This is the flat apartment right now before the last push to the top.
So for some of the athletes, they come here. It's just a really different experience, a cultural experience, flying in the desert, flying some new scenery and something they haven't done before, very different to Europe. But others, it's a bit of a chance to show that you can get good results in hike and flies because there's a lot of hike and fly races these days, and some of them, yeah, you need to show uh, some some results to be able to get in.
True, yeah. So participating in the secondary categories of these races is definitely one of the best ways as well to get into the strategies and the whole functioning of these races, and as well to guarantee your curriculum, to build your curriculum and get into more high level competition in the future. Yeah, I would say that in general, the hike and fly movement is growing exponentially everywhere in the world, and it's beautiful to see that.
I guess this is the best one though, eh? Because you get put up in a hotel.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a unique format, probably the only one in the world where pro athletes get all their expenses covered. There is a decent prize money, um, and so it's just a matter of taking some time to train and come here and do your best.
Well, the X Alps, you do get to have free camping for the first week.
Sure, and some dry food, some dried up food. Yeah. So the situation seems pretty much unchanged for now. The head pack is very, very tight together. Aaron is making the pace. And then I think we have Nicola Heininger, Remy Burdell, and Thomas Matera just following. Yeah. So far, I would say that these guys are confirming their skill, their hiking skills, and their uh, ability as athletes, as the first three or four guys are pretty much always in the same positions.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the athletes who supported Kriegel last time round, and yeah, like in the X Alps, obviously it doesn't really matter how fast you are on the ground if you can't fly, and the flying is the most important thing. For these races, you need to fly, you need to be good at taking off and landing and tricky launches, but it's not so much cross country decisions. So, and they're shorter races as well. But in the X Alps, uh, there's the potential to be completely worn out physically and just be exhausted, and then start to make bad decisions in the air.
True.
So, yeah, that's one thing you have to think of. But I guess for these shorter races, you can afford to push a bit harder. I know when they came up the stairs in the skyscraper afterwards, they were just lying on their backs and sucking it in. Like that's not the kind of pace that you would do in the X Alps when
Definitely not.
you got to last for nearly 2 weeks. So yeah,
Except on the first hike. On the first hike, they all give 110% because they want to be quick in the air on the first day.
yeah, it's a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not going to race up the hill. There's no point being fast. It's a 2 week race." But when you're in the atmosphere, it's hard not to get wound up and do things a little bit different to how you thought you would.
That's what makes an athlete is when you see people going faster than you pick up the pace. And as well here as in the X Alps, these guys only have to carry their minimum necessary equipment, so glider, harness, rescue, and helmet. As well here, they don't even need much clothing because it's super hot, but they do need 2 liters of water. So um, this probably makes the backpacks pretty much the same weight as a X Alps backpack, I would say. Maybe a little bit. I mean,
Yeah,
just the water, maybe a little bit more.
yeah. These days they're like little day bags rather than
Yeah.
the huge oversized backpacks back in the day.
Yeah, these guys must have something around 6, 7 kilograms on their backs. Which, if you compare that to a Volby back adventure where you're on your own and you hike up with, at least 13 to 15 kilos, of course, these kind of weights allow you to go much faster.
So the leaders where they are now, they've gone just past the point where I went straight up the hill, but I don't know if that was a good route. There was either that one or the next one. Like there's two zigzags that I've skipped. Yeah, it was a bit of a dodgy section. Yeah, I wonder which way they're going to go. Like whether they're just going to cut the whole zigzag from the next hairpin.
Yeah, this looks like a quite steep cut, so maybe they will have to actually run the road in this section. And of course, now the group has spread apart a little bit more. We have a few different smaller packs of pilots spread along the road.
Is Vese still at the back there?
Yeah, I think that is
Yeah,
the
he hasn't got carried away yet.
no. Well, I think
Must be
some
the most
guys
mature pilot.
are following
The ridge.
the ridge.
There you go.
Look here.
Huh.
Oh, interesting. It might be a little bit more tricky to walk up this section, but you get to avoid the big detour of the road.
So who are those pilots? Let's check that out.
So the first one was it's Ellie Egger who
Uh-huh.
decided to go there, and then Moreno Parmesan followed her, and then we have Seb Ospina, and I believe yeah everybody else. So also Melina and Vezov
Lisa.
went there. Yes,
I hope they're not lost.
hopefully.
But Ellie, she was actually involved in supporting Aaron Duragatti, who I think is still at the front
Yeah,
in previous X Alps races.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm not surprised that she's come up with her own strategy. I mean, she seems to be in front on that alternative bridge route
yeah.
there.
And don't forget that Ellie also participated herself in the exams this year, and he'll even managed to be the first woman to ever complete the course.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, she did really well, and I was quite impressed. Or I don't know. It for me, the biggest thing about that was because she's a lighter pilot, and there's not really performance wings for that weight range. She was flying the X Alps with weights like a
yeah.
vest strapped to her for extra weight. I just
So
thought that's crazy. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's pretty tough.
lots of work for her supporters to bring carry the weights around.
Yeah, but it makes the logistics a lot more
Yeah,
complicated if like you can't land in the middle of nowhere. You have to have your supporters nearby
yeah, true.
unless you want to hike up the hill wearing carrying weights.
Which you definitely don't want to. So we'll see if the ridge strategy will pay off or not in a bit.
I've just been told that Ellie has a smaller wing now, so that's good.
All right,
Yeah, carrying weights around is not the ideal situation.
definitely not. So again, we are now watching at the probably the slowest phase of the race where the athletes are still rushing up to turn point one. Well, I think in the next 10, 15 minutes, maybe we will maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't know how long it takes them to get the wing out of the bag. I remember talking to Aaron Duragatti once. I think I asked him about how he packed his wing,
Hmm.
and he said, "Yeah, I do it this way because it's how Kriegel does it." I watched his video and I just did it the same way. But yeah, it's great. Like coming to these events. I mean, there's just a few ex Alps athletes here, but it's a bit of a community. Like people see each other, a few times a year in different places around the world, and yeah, everyone helps each other out, and yeah, there's like that's one of the reasons why it gets harder and harder. I was finding it harder and harder to keep up with the guys as a Kiwi because the standard is just getting better and better, and yeah, young guys are coming in, new ideas, and people are just training, taking it more seriously, and there's a lot of hike and fly events for them to hone their skills. So yeah,
That's the beauty of it, like every sport it's evolving and new generations are coming in and new athletes are getting better and better. And well, I think you mentioned one of the most beautiful things about this sport in general, hike and fly, is that the community is really friendly and of course it's a competition, so everybody wants to win. But the I would say that the vibe is really, really nice. And as well in this event, we're sharing the same hotel, so being at dinner together every night and sharing thoughts, sharing uh, tips and tricks sometimes. So it's definitely these kind of competitions is definitely a good chance of growth for everybody. And as we speak, the first head group has just left the road on the first U-turn, and so they definitely found a shortcut to the final stretch before the takeoff. Whereas Paul is Paul is still going on his own adventure today. He
hmm
took a different detour trying to cut up to avoid the long detour of the road. We'll see which one of those. I mean, from the map, it looks like the head group took a shorter road, maybe.
So they had a chance to visit this site and scope it out a couple of days ago,
Right.
but it was pretty bad weather, and I think Aaron was the only one that flew, like from the lower takeoff from
Yeah.
the start. So I presume that the athletes have been spending a bit of time on Google Earth plotting which way they're going to go up the hill. Yeah, it's been quite long days because it takes a couple of hours to drive out here from Dubai. So yeah, we've been waking up at, well, me, I've been had my alarm on at 6 o'clock for a 7 a.m. depart, and
Same.
then a couple of hours driving.
Yeah.
And by the time we get back to the hotel, there's not too much time to do things, and you're pretty tired. So yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen, like, on the chat group that we're all on, some people are sending messages pretty late at night, like they've checked the task or they've checked this and checked that, and
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm just going to sleep.
Yeah, and it's the third day in a row that we come to this place. So it's been 3 days with this routine of, wake up 6 a.m., departure 7, 2 hours driving, then scouting, flying, or even racing yesterday, and then, prize giving ceremonies. So a little bit of formal stuff and logistics, and then you end up being back at the hotel pretty much at sunset. And so just time for a shower, dinner, and then, you know, as you were
Yeah.
saying.
Well, when the task was cancelled yesterday, I thought, oh, good, we might be able to get home early. But still, as we were driving home, the sun was setting. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe not. Yeah, we've got a little bit more cloud development. Still, it's not enough vertical development for showers at this stage. But just in the last few minutes, the breeze down here where we are at the finish has picked up a bit. So I don't know if that's going to die off, or it's just going to get stronger through the afternoon. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
That might make it tricky because I would say when they're on the top ridge they'll have a little bit of a tailwind. But as they come in closer to the landing, they might find that they're not getting the glide that they thought they might. So there might be people running down the road to the finish, especially if they don't want to spend any time topping up and getting as high as they can before the glide. And the leaders won't have anyone in front of them to show them what the conditions are like down low. So yeah, it could be a case of, do you hang around trying to get a bit higher for the final glide, or you just push on and hope for the best and maybe have to run the last few meters on the road.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see from the map right here, the finish line is quite a stretch out from the last takeoff. So a decent headwind will might be a problem for them. I mean, it's not going to be easy to fly against the wind for such a long stretch.
Yeah, paragliders are slowest aircraft, I think, apart from hot air balloons. So
Yeah,
yeah, wind makes a big difference.
which are all balloons really aircrafts? Are they? I don't know. They are, but I mean, just
Let's not get into that. We don't want to start a war in the
no,
comments.
exactly right. Still hoping for some live signal from the top. Our camera guys are moving around.
Yeah, they've been in the wild most of the time, haven't they? Like out of reception.
Yep.
That's the thing. It might be fun to do hike and fly races, but if you're doing vol bivouac multi-day trips, then you're you're a bit out in the wild. There's not exactly water everywhere that you go. The campsites are a little rocky, and well, then you've got the Oman airspace issue as well, so you might not want to get lost out here. So Ellie's charging ahead on the ridge route. She's got a bit of a gap for the next athletes.
Yep.
unless their tracking is not so good. But uh, yeah, it's interesting. It's quite a long way off the road, but I mean, it's much more interesting being on a ridge where you can have the view and the breeze and see the what's happening on both sides of the hill, and you probably have a better idea of what the wind's doing on the ridge as well.
Yep. True. Interestingly enough, we can see that the group is now split into 5 different routes. So we got uh, head group, which has gone all the way to the U-turn and then taken the last shortcut before the end. And then we have Paul on his solitary journey, taking 2 different shortcuts and trying to avoid the road as much as he can. And a different group, which is taking even another different shortcut. Probably they will hike up to the second U-turn and then run the road up to the end. And then we have Michael Witchy again, taking a and I don't know if we had a little issue with the connection for the last few minutes, but hopefully we're back online right now.
So there are two purpose-built concrete pads to launch from, but they're basically cliff edge launches, just like taking off from the side of a skyscraper. But in the past, we launched from the road that they just ran past on the final stretch to the finish, and also there's a small track that goes up to face the other side of the mountain. The other side would be a good option if it's into the wind, but of course, if you don't manage to get any height, then you've got a really long drop, and you're in no man's land. I don't even know if you can walk back up there. I think there's a base jumping site on the other side because it's so steep the drop
Yeah,
off.
true. Yeah.
You could probably base jump off the paragliding launch, to be honest.
So in the meantime, again, I think we were offline for a few minutes. We just solved the connection issue, and hopefully we're back online and you're still following us. Yes, I mean all the parameters look good now. And so I don't know what I mean if you lost anything, but the athletes just made it to turn point one. The first group made it to turn point one with Aaron on the lead, followed by Nicola Heininger, Remy Burdel, and Thomas Matera, and Damian Lacaze as well in the group. I kind of lost Aaron right now here in the tracking, but he's going behind. Okay. Oh, he's walking back. Oh, there he is. He's walking back on the road, probably looking for a better takeoff than the concrete platform you were talking about before.
Yep, which is off to the right.
Yeah. Yeah, again,
So they're launching
probably.
from the sunny side
Yeah,
rather than
exactly. Probably the wind is from
the
the sunny
north.
side as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because again, this location had 2 takeoff options. I guess Powell, which is walking on the backside, was hoping for a back launch, but apparently Aaron is walking back on the road, so maybe the south side launch is looking better at the moment because for the wind conditions.
Yeah, I mean the practice day where we flew this site, it it wasn't over the back. Like the first time it was over the back for us was when we did the task. So yeah, I guess it's probably similar conditions today. Coming up the sunny side and the way you want to fly. Yeah, there was a flat gravel area where we could launch last time, but the best is if you can get your wing up on the tarmac, so there's no lines, no possibility of lines catching, and then jump over and take off on the side of the hill.
and we have some camera feedback. Try to show it to you, but yeah, the guys are running. Basically, there's a photographer guy and our live camera guy trying to keep up with some of the athletes, obviously struggling to do so. But
It's the action cam
yeah,
angle. Well, following the yellow line. There you go.
yeah, and we were discussing whether to use GoPros for the live stream, and maybe it would be a good idea now. Huh? They will be lighter to carry on the run. So let's see when and where the first guys will decide to take off. Again, we have Aaron. Looks like he stopped there, so maybe that's a place he decided to use as launch. And again, followed by the now usual guys, Nicola, Remy, Damien, and Thomas Matera.
So Aaron should be launching at any minute. Will he need to get some extra height to make sure that he makes the turn point?
Uh,
Or is he going to go for a straight glide?
I think
Just a few extra meters would be
yeah,
handy, I think.
exactly. If you manage to get that quick after takeoff, then it's going to be a fast glide for sure. Or maybe he's going to risk it and just go for the glide and try to make up for the missing height close to the landing place. That's maybe the more aggressive approach. And I think we're back online. Yes, we are back online. Very, very, very good. Yes, we did have some connection issues with our streaming device, but we are back online now, so hopefully we're good for the rest of the tasks today. Much happened in the meantime as we were trying to fix our technical problems. The guys did take off from turn point one, and almost like half of them by now. And the first group landed just close to the start and already packed the ladder and are walking up now to the start slash turn point three. Uh,
Doesn't look like they gained any height in thermals. They just went straight out for the glide the fast way, and they didn't quite make it, but not too far to go on the road to
yeah,
get back.
it looks like Thomas Matera is the one now leading as he did make a little bit more altitude and probably is trying to approach and land directly at turn point three. But on the other hand, there and Damian Lacaze as well. Yes. Okay, apparently looks like we're back online with both audio and video. Yes, very good. Yeah. Um,
Well, a bit's happened since we went offline. There's been people flying and things happen a bit faster there. So we've had some lines which have been almost okay, and some people have topped up a bit of height to give themselves a bit of an extra margin. And we have one that it didn't really work out for.
yeah, for example, Noé Court was trying to reach to land directly at the turn point 3, which he couldn't manage, and so he tried to go on the other side of the valley to make up some altitude, and it also didn't work. So he had to land all the way down at the bottom of the valley, and now he's running up the hill again to make it to turn point 3.
So Paul Gushelbauer saw it in a similar place and managed to get up. So it must have been close for no.
Yeah,
Uh, and yeah, some of them have started hiking up the hill again.
we
Looks
still
like Aaron's in front.
yes, we still have Aaron leading the group up to turn point 4.
I'm interested. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm interested to see if anyone flies again because you could soar just across the valley on that spur, and maybe you could work your way up to the turn point from there. But it's going to be a little bit of a convoluted route. So
Yeah, it looks like the wind comes in a little bit cross into the valley. So in order to get high, you would have to take off and lean onto the other side, which it just didn't work for Noah Court less than 15 minutes ago. So um, I don't know if anybody will try and do that.
yeah, the last edition it was straightforward to launch from the start slash turn point 3. But getting any altitude there was kind of tricky. You had to just sift around and try to find some lift getting up the gully, and finally you could get around the front where it faces more into the wind and the sun, and then you could get some height. But it took quite a while.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, today looks even a little bit trickier. And even here at the landing field, we see main wind coming from northwest, west, northwest. And
It's been pretty light and variable for the last, I don't know, 20 minutes or so.
yeah,
But it was quite gusty before that. So it just depends. The clouds are shadowing things as well now. The clouds are big enough to produce showers in an hour or two, perhaps, and definitely big enough to put some shade in places, and that tends to shut areas down. So there will be a lot of variability as to the time you arrive somewhere.
yeah. In the meantime, we see pretty much every athlete reaching turn point 1 and getting ready to take off right now. A good half of them has already done the first flight and is either uh, approaching the landing or has landed somewhere on the road and starting to go back up again. We see Yuji Yamamoto quite far in the back. I'm just wondering if that's some sort of live tracking mistake or if it is really. Oh, okay. We got confirmation that his live tracking stopped some time ago, so probably is not there where you see it right now.
How's Ellie doing? Because she took the different route up the ridge.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
chances are that Yuji is close to her,
Exactly. They,
wherever
they,
she
they were
is.
together. They were together, and I think they are on takeoff right now. Yeah, Ellie's here on takeoff right now. So they made it. They made it to turn point 1, and actually Ellie just looks like she just took off right now.
So they've got the advantage of seeing the pilots ahead of them. I mean, if they've been keeping an eye out.
Yeah.
So they might decide that it's worthwhile topping up with a little bit of extra height to make sure that you arrive at the turn point
Yeah.
without having to land down in the valley.
Which, as we said, just happened to Noé Court, which is rushing back up, is now in the lower part of the screen right now, and he's rushing back up on the road, trying to catch up with the other group, with the rest of the group. And I would say most of the people already landed. We still have Damien flying and Daniel Brauer, I think. Damien, yeah, Damien is trying it. I think he made it to the turn point and is now trying to fly back up. So we'll see if his strategy will pay off. He's on a glide now to the other side of the valley. As we said, he was finding some lift there before. So possibly that's where he wants to go and try and get back up.
Is that Paul? Is it? He's
No, that's Damien Lacaz.
oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. It makes it a bit more interesting if people are
Yeah,
taking different routes and trying different strategies.
yeah. I mean, some of the guys started a little bit high, a little bit before him hiking, so they already are quite a far stretch out. So this is the only his only chance to try and make a different decision and pass them. But we're looking at Aaron Durgati unleashing his full steep vertical climb potential right now. He's running up the hill to the last turn point, from which he will have to take off and then fly all the way to here. In the meantime, we are going to be soon looking at the first athletes of the challenge category, whose task was a bit shorter today, reaching the finish line.
Yeah, so they're skipping that turn point on the hill and they're just racing straight in from the top.
Yes, exactly. They only had to go to turn point one and then flying to the finish line And we are back online, but our camera is not quite so. And so we only have some frozen images of the turn point. This is the signing board on turn point three, which was also the starting line. And this is the takeoff. I mean, the view from takeoff where Aaron is coming right now.
Look at those clouds.
Yeah, I mean, they're building up. You can, I mean, we can see it from here as well, but it's much more dramatic from the takeoff. I think Aaron took a very vertical route. I mean, the official route would be to follow the road and then go up from the ridge, but he decided to go full vertical.
If you wanted to try and launch from where Aaron is right now, you would probably break a line and maybe rip your glider as well.
Yeah. Remember, this terrain is made of sharp and pointy rocks, so it's very easy to hook some of the lines on the takeoff, on the relaunch, and breaking them, as Aaron actually did yesterday um, when he took off, even if the task was cancelled. So he just flew down, and on launch he managed to break a few lines. And we will soon be looking at the first challenge athlete coming here, the landing where we are. We'll have a perfect view on him.
So I think it's the bloke who came second or third yesterday, from what I heard, but there's a few not too far off him. Yeah, Ben, I think his name was, but we'll see soon.
Yep.
And how's Damien Lacar's going? Has he managed to gain any
Let's
height
let's
soaring?
take a look. The man is struggling right here. Yeah, he's on the ridge. Is on some zeros. I think he got it now. He's going up slowly, as you can see. He definitely did lose some time here trying to find a thermal, but now he found one. So let's see how quick it is for him to make it high enough to go in top land. In the
He's
meantime,
got company, does he?
yeah, exactly. Daniel Brauer is doing the same.
Oh, he's got a good climb.
Yeah,
Who's that?
Daniel
Daniel
Brauer. Yes,
Burrell. Yeah. But he's come off a different ridge, hasn't he? He's come
yeah.
off a ridge in front.
He was
That's where Paul Guschelbauer went, and no, he didn't quite manage.
exactly. Yes, yes. And in the meantime, we see Ellie Egger getting some altitude above everybody else on her glide to the second turn point. This is the cylinder.
So the wind will be feeding up the valley onto those spurs where they're climbing, but also there'll be sun on them as well. But I guess some of the wind is going to be splitting down off into the valleys. So yeah, it does seem like it was a bit dicey. No one's gained height around the launch, have they, at the start?
Yeah, we can see. I think this is the the last group together with Melina. Melina is getting ready to launch right now, and we don't know much about Yuji as his live track stopped, but he was close in this tail group with Vezo, Eli, and Seb Ospina, and they're all gliding to the cylinder turn point. Just few meters below them, there's Dan Oberauer and
Daniel
Damien Lacaz
Lacaz.
trying to climb up again after turn point three and trying to go top land on top. Most of the group is now on the hill, either hiking to turn point three or past turn point three to turn point four. We see Paul Gutsbauer taking a different route from everybody else.
That's what he likes to do.
Right, yeah. And usual head group with Aaron Durgatti, Remy Burdell, Nicola Heininger, and Thomas Matera are already on the very steep climb to the last turn point. Looks like a bit of a messy spaghetti from here with all the trucks, but the race is still tied together. And again, if the people trying to fly up get good lift, they might even be able to get to the takeoff before the walking group. Strategy that didn't work really well for Noé Court, which had to land down in the bottom of the valley and is now walking back up on the road. Okay. We just got information that exactly because of this, Noé Court decided to stop and withdraw from today's task. Um, it looks like, I mean, he's arrived because he was walking on the road for the last half an hour or so, but probably feels like he's too far back to to be still competitive, so I decided to stop. I was still waiting for the guys of the challenge category to come here for landing. It will be interesting to see how many of them will be here before the first guys from the pro category arrive. The second pilot of the challenge category will not make it to the to the finish line flying, so we'll have to land somewhere in between here and takeoff, and then hike, run, walk to the finish line. And this is what hike and fly is all about at the end. If you make it to the end flying, good. If you don't, then you walk.
So it looks like this is an Elliot coming into the turn point, but doesn't look like they've got too much height.
Yeah, it looks like they got some sing there. Veso probably is pushing on the bar quite a lot, but it looks like they barely will make it, or maybe not enough. And apart from the first head group, which has taken quite a lot of advance advantage on the rest, we have Paul Guschelbauer following not too far behind, and then Michael Witschi, Nicola Donini, and Maurice Koller in the second group, basically. Shortly followed by Pauline Muller. Great performance from Pauline. She's only flying for 3 years, but she's a very, very good runner and climber and hiker. So I think in these short races, she can still perform really well as she is doing. And Seb Ospina is the first one of the tail group coming in for landing. Is coming in for landing directly at the turn point, as it looks like.
So I would think these guys behind will probably try to fly up. Who's that guy who's doing really well climbing just behind the view of the live tracking there? You had the red track.
Oh, this guy? No,
So that's Ellie coming in,
this is Ellie coming in. Yes, you can
but there was someone here climbing. Is that Damien down there?
this is Damien. Yes, this is Damien. Oh no, this
Yeah.
is Daniel Brower,
And who's
and
this?
Daniel is. Oh yeah, here he is. Here he is. Yeah, yeah. He's doing really well now. Damien is now climbing really,
Who's
really
it?
good. That's Daniel. That is Daniel Lacaz.
Okay, so he's
Yeah,
probably going to be able to glide straight into the launch and maybe get in front of Aaron Durigati
yeah.
at this rate. It looks like he's just going to get a little bit higher, then he'll have enough for the glide.
True. Yes, yes. I mean, he's already higher than the guys walking, and if he managed to climb, to keep climbing like this a bit more, he will probably be able to make it in the glide to the takeoff. And as well, he can top land, sign, and then take off without even packing or unpacking the glider, which will make it even faster.
As long as he can launch. I think they might have improved the launch since I was there, but it was pretty rocky and it took me at least 10 minutes of getting my lines caught on the rocks.
Yeah, typical situation on launches here, I would say. There's quite a bit of wind, as you see from Damien Lecar's truck route. He's
The thermal's a bit bent over.
yeah, he's getting drifted quite a lot, but as well as climbing quite quickly. So
It's probably worth taking a few extra turns just to
definitely,
make sure you can avoid the hiking up the hill, especially if it means you don't have to pack your glider.
yeah.
Yeah, there must be some quite good climbs around because the clouds are looking pretty good. Our cameramen are still in the wild.
Yeah, they're still lost somewhere. Again, we're now using probably the most advanced streaming technology available for commercial use, and if this is not getting signal, then nothing else will. So we definitely are in one of the probably worst places in the world to do a stream live for, a live stream for from. And but we still have access to the live tracking uh, provided to us by relief maps, and so we can follow the action really close from here and explain to you. But you can also watch it yourself if you click on the link down below in the description of this video. Um, you will be redirected to the relief maps website. You can download the app and have full access to this live tracking.
So Damien is still climbing.
Yep.
It looks like he should be able to glide in uh, to overtake Aaron at this stage. I'm waiting to see how many more turns he does before he sets off on glide.
Yeah, we'll keep watching. This is the moment, really the moment of truth. Whether he's going to make it or not will make the whole difference in the race.
Now he's a reasonable distance from those guys, and he's probably got a predominantly white wing. So I wonder if those guys are aware that Damien is going to overtake them from the air as they hike up the slope.
Yeah, I think they're going in like full power mode, looking at your feet and just pushing as hard as you can.
Yeah, there's probably not a lot they can do now, but watching other pilots is definitely an important part of paragliding competitions because it lets you see where the best places are, what's working, what's not. And that's the advantage if you're a little bit behind is the people in front map things out for you.
Yep. So looks like Damien has started his glide, or at least is now trying to move towards the turn point.
When he gets to turn point 4 and signs the board and takes off again, it's a pretty marginal glide back. You probably want to get a bit of extra height, but if you take a good line, you could probably do it on the glide. So that'll be another interesting point. Like maybe it won't quite work out for them and they'll have to run the last meters on the road, or maybe they'll waste time climbing and get
A tight battle for the leading place between him and Damien, which is coming at 40 kilometers per hour, close to 40 kilometers per hour, um, towards the turn point.
He's probably using a little bit of speed bar to push against that wind that you can see on the thermal drifting back.
Probably, yes. And you can see from this image, you can see the finish line there in the background. So that's the line they have to fly, the ridge they have to fly along in order to make it to the finish line. We still haven't seen anybody from the challenge category landing here or arriving. So it's going to be a tight match, maybe even between the two categories. That's interesting. So this makes you understand how fast these pro guys are going compared to still good but more average pilots.
Now at the landing, the wind is blowing towards us as we're looking towards the task area. So they have a tailwind, and you want to turn into that before you touch down. But it has been pretty variable here, actually. There's quite a few rocky ridges quite close to us, so it probably depends on which ones of those are drawing up thermals and where the shadows are of clouds.
It looks like we are not having any more connection issues at the moment. Hopefully we'll stay like this till the end of the stream.
A cameraman, are they?
They definitely are, yes.
Lost in the wild.
Yes. I mean, we are in one of the best places for connection in the area for sure, but our cameramen are not. They are trying to follow the action wherever it goes.
I haven't seen any showers from where I am, but some of the clouds are pretty big and it looks like they could be ripe and ready for a shower quite soon, but I don't think it'll affect the task area. It looks like they're just off to the east.
Oh, and there comes the first guy from challenge category. Now we're looking at him approaching the landing area.
Yeah, so he's flying back towards where he came from because we've got
Yeah,
the wind
because the
blowing
wind direction.
from
Yeah,
the north
exactly.
on the surface here.
Yeah. Going back at the pro category, we can see Damian is gliding pretty nicely. He's using his speed bar to optimize his gliding speed towards the turn point. And it's going to be a very, very tight battle between him and Aaron, which is approaching the takeoff right now. Or maybe Aaron actually made it to the turn point because there's a cylinder around that TP4 point. So he must be taking off anytime soon. Look at Damien uh, pushing to reach the turn point, hopefully before Aaron. He's actually now he's spiraling down to lose some altitude. It's too high to land, so he will have to land as fast as he can if he wants to overtake Aaron. Which in the meantime has just reached 0.4. It's probably signing the board right now. This board that you can see now, unfortunately, we don't have any live footage at the moment, but this is the place where Aaron is probably right now. And as far as we're concerned, we are here at the finish line, looking at the first athlete of the challenge category, just making it to the end of his task today. But let's go back to the live tracking provided by Relief Maps that's showing us Damien approaching the landing field, approaching the top land on 20.4. Let's see if he. I think Aaron is still in front, but let's see if Damian can at least overtake Nicola and Remy that are just behind Aaron on the hike to turn point 3. Thomas Matera is also following shortly, and Paul Guschelbauer again on his solo journey today as well, following not far behind. I'm also looking down at turn point 3, and we also have some of the tail group already landed there. I see Melina, I see Vezo, and I see Rettorizer and others just landed close to turn point 3 down on the street and are making their way up to turn point 4. And this is the moment we are looking at Damien Lacaze landing at turn point 4. He will be running very quickly to sign the board and then taking off again.
So it looks close enough that they'll have to decide whether they just gun it and go straight for goal, or they top up and get a bit of extra height and risk getting overtaken. Aaron's probably just about got his wing out, but Damien's is already out.
Yep. What a race. I mean, actually, this is exactly what we're talking about. You know, a small choice will make a huge difference. I didn't think this was possible, honestly, by looking at the trucks of the others, but somehow Damien managed to make it work.
Yeah, it's is there anyone else doing the same tactics at the moment?
I don't think so. I mean, look at the situation. If I zoom out a little bit, Damien and Aaron are exactly at the same spot. They're actually together. Yeah, there's somebody else flying here. Looks like Daniel Brower, but he took off pretty close to Damien and Seb Ospina. They're both flying and trying to go up.
Is
Uh,
Light Brew, is that Seb, is it? This one here?
this one is like, yeah, light blue Seb, yes.
Yeah, I would say Seb is he's a very skilled pilot, and he probably doesn't hiking up the hill in the heat, so I'm
Yeah.
not surprised that he had to go. I actually thought Schumacher might as well, because he already knew about that spur. He saw it there to get extra height before he landed, so he opted not to go back for it. Could be a time killer, but
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely worked out for Damien.
It looks like Damien has overpassed Aaron as well, and now they're both flying towards the west side of the mountain, trying to be, of course, in the right side where the wind comes from, before gliding to the finish line. And the finish line is actually a cylinder, so to make the landing safe and not having people rushing down, the first one who hits the cylinder is gonna win the task, and then they can safely land whenever they want. Just like an endless split section on a normal cross-country competition. So it looks like Damien's choice paid out. I'm wondering how if he made it to top land. I mean, it was very quick.
Yep.
But probably the fact that he didn't. Yeah. Okay. So by looking at the statistics of the light tracking, our race judge Baptiste is saying that he did stop for a few seconds, but it was super fast. So um, it could be that we will have to check that later. But if he managed to land, sign, and take off in just a few seconds, it was very impressive.
I remember when I flew in last time, I was yelling out to ask where the signboard was, but chances are he spotted it from the air if he was able to get it done so quickly.
Yeah, I mean the signboard was underneath the tent, so it was pretty easy to spot it probably from the air. And so now for Aaron and Daniel and Damien, it's just going to be a matter of short XC flight, couple thermals, um, almost.
Well, they can probably do it on a glide.
Yeah.
Just maybe they want to get a bit of height just to make sure.
Yeah. And Remy and Nicola are following just shortly after. I also Thomas Matera as well.
So Thomas was the first to head up the hill, wasn't he? Because he landed at goal, so he must have been overtaken by Aaron on the hike up. He landed at the start,
All right,
whereas
yes.
the others landed up the road a bit. Maybe he took a little longer to pack his wing into the bag.
And again, we have the rest of the group. Pretty much almost half of the group made it to turn point 3 already and are hiking up to turn point 4. And the other half, or actually just the tail group, is still hiking on the road to turn point 3. Again, today was a big day for them because lots of hiking, very high temperatures, so lots of sweating, and also not very easy flying condition. Probably you could see the quite a big drift um, from Damian as he was throwing it up, as well wind coming from switching direction every now and then. Probably hasn't made it too easy for them.
The second from the challenge category, and it up again. Sound this way.
Okay, so we,
now,
I know.
So I remember from list on this on this spot right now for the challenge. Same as yesterday evening.
So we also have information that also the second athlete from the challenge category managed to get some altitude again and is currently flying to the finish line. As we speak, Aaron and Damien are now pushing it on the final glide. As you were saying, they're making it in a glide, definitely.
Well, we'll know when they land.
Yeah, true, true. But it looks like they will make it. Um,
I mean, at the moment, on the surface, it's tailwind, so
yeah.
they
I
have to push.
assume the same wind also quite a bit higher. If you look at the clouds, it looks like the wind is coming from pretty much from where, I mean, they have a slight, at least some kind of tailwind component to here. Ah, Damian is getting some height.
Yep, why not?
Yeah.
He's got to give Aaron a chance, doesn't he?
Yeah, right.
Is he going to leave the thermal before Aaron gets underneath him?
Yeah,
Is Aaron going to take the thermal, or is he going to keep pushing?
I think Aaron's going to keep pushing, but Damian like this, he just put a little extra card in his pocket, to put out if he sees Aaron pushing and making it, then he can push more, you know,
Yeah,
from a bit higher up.
yeah. Paragliders, they've got a speed bar, but the speed isn't so fast. So,
Yeah. Looks like Aaron has done a couple turns as well.
oh yep. Pretty close finish.
Very close finish.
Yeah, Damien had a great run in the X Alps. There was a time, probably a key moment for him was where a lot of the leading pack got caught in showers and shade around Mont Blanc, and he took a much longer route to avoid all that bad weather. And yeah, he ended up coming in second place. So yeah, not surprised to see him up the front.
Yeah, sure, sure. And we're just following them on the live track right now. Maybe we will be able to see them even with our bare eyes in a few minutes.
first is a second challenge. They are just behind.
We're looking at one pilot from a challenge
Oh, yeah.
category coming from above the ridge, and Aaron and Damien are just behind him. So we'll probably be in sight very, very soon.
No, he's here.
Oi.
I think it'll be good. Just ask him back and
So, yeah, we can have.
Oi.
So we're lucky enough, if he wants to have no court.
Friends.
uh,
we're trying to persuade one of the
yeah,
athletes to come over and
come.
talk to us.
Yeah.
But they're pretty strange people, these hike and fly pilots.
Right. Yeah. Well, let's go back on the live trekking as Aaron and Damien are gliding to the finish line. We see Remy Burdell and Nicola Heininger just making it to the top on turn point 4. And I'm just seeing a picture. We have five, five, 6 people already signed aboard um, on turn point 4. So
And their signatures are completely indecipherable.
yes, we're
So
trying
we're
to
lucky we've got the live tracking.
exactly. We're trying to see who these guys are. But the first guys were definitely Damien, Aaron, um, Remy Burdell, Nicola Heininger, and possibly Thomas Matera and Paul Guschelbauer, which on the live track look still a few meters below the top, but maybe they actually already went there. You know, we always have a little bit of delay in everything. But yeah, currently we see Remy Burdell and Nicola Heininger taking off, and possibly Thomas Matera and Paul Guschelbauer. Maybe they already signed, maybe they didn't, but they must be somewhere around there. Next on the board, we have Michael Wicci performing really well today, and Nicola Donini as well, and top 10 uh, people reaching 10.4. I mean, now from now on, there's not much that can happen in this first 10 positions, as again, the hike is the hike and the flight is the flight. So unless somebody really pushes too hard and bombs out somewhere close to the finish line, pretty much the situation will be like this. But again, anything can still happen. We're back on Damien Lacaze and Aaron Durgati gliding to the finish line. They must be full on bar, trying to overpass each other. From the tracking, it looks like they will make it, but you know, it's you never know until it's finished.
And let's look back and see if anyone else is soaring, like Seb was soaring before, rather than hiking up from the turn point. I mean, there's a good chance that he's going to overtake a lot of the guys that are hiking.
True, that's true. Yes, there's a couple pilots, Seb Ospina and Daniel Brauer. They made quite a bit of altitude. They're almost as high as Damien when he glided to the turn point 4, but they have been drifted back quite a bit more.
Yeah, even though they uh, got their thermal from the spur in front of Damien's, their thermal has drifted back further, so probably it's a weaker thermal.
Yeah.
But I think they'll make sure that they have enough height to land on top rather than drag their wing over the rocks.
Sure.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a good option to fly. I think in the hike and fly competitions, I mean, maybe it's because I'm a lazy pilot, but you always fly if you can.
And we're currently looking at a few more pilots from the challenge category reaching the finish line. So it will become a little bit more hectic here where we are streaming from. And we should be seeing also, actually, we have a now look on Damien and Aaron coming to the finish line.
Yep.
We see Damien gliding.
I just see one.
Yeah, we see just one now, but Aaron is really close behind. So we should see both of them really close. You can definitely see the pro approach low and fast, as opposed to the challenge approach which are above our heads and
It looks like they got plenty of height though.
yeah,
Yeah. Getting in.
yeah, and now it's definitely clear that that Damien Lacaze is gonna make it here. Let's see if he will make it to the. Yeah, he barely made it. I mean, it's really, really close,
Oh,
but
precision.
precision. Yes, exactly. And again, we don't have any
Precision.
la précision de français. And again, we have no live camera streaming here, but be sure to be following our Instagram page, UAE Hike&Fly Championship, to keep updated and also have some footage of everything that's happening here.
So he's almost straight over the top of us now.
Yeah, I mean, we can officially say that Damien made it.
He's just started doing some wing overs and he'll have to turn into wind soon.
Yeah, it's gonna land anytime really soon.
That was really nice. It was cool that the person who decided to fly up the hill managed to come in first.
Yep. What a,
And touchdown.
what a spectacular landing. He came in pretty fast with the last tight turn before landing straight right in the middle um of the
Car park.
car park. Yes,
Gravel pit.
car park. But I mean, I was looking for a way to say the thing that was built up here, like the athlete.
Another athlete
Place.
landing there from the Challenger
Yeah, that
category,
should be
flying an al-Khaima.
N from South Africa, coming in second place for the challenge category. And by looking at the live tracking, we should see Aaron come in anytime soon.
Yeah, he can't be too far away.
Yeah.
I don't know why I haven't seen him in the air.
In the meantime, also Remy Burdell and Nicola Heininger are in the air and on their way to here. They definitely took a detour compared to Aaron and Damien. Um, we'll see if that will if that's maybe just because they were a little bit lower or if they're just following a longer route. In the meantime, we see Seb and
Is it Daniel or
Dan, yes, and Dan making their
Young pilot.
glide to the turn point 4. So this move, if it works, it will give them a chance to overpass quite a few people for sure. We're scanning the sky, hoping to see Aaron coming in the next few seconds.
Maybe he's gone cross country.
Yeah,
He's flying back to Dubai.
right.
What about Viso? I want to see where Viso is. He was down the
Vessel,
back of the-
yeah, I was down in the back. I think last time I saw him, he was still walking up to turn point 3, and there he is, yes, on the road. Followed just by Melina, who's a little bit further behind.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I guess it's a bit of a risk flying again because you might have to walk even further.
Yeah, exactly. If you bomb out,
But it worked for
go-
some.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think just 3 pilots thermaled up after the turn point 3.
So far, just Damien, Seb Ospina, and Dan Oberauer, whereas everybody else was hiking. And we see Moreno Parmesan, we see Gabriel Jansen from Brazil, and then Eli Egger, Peter Bergdold, Daniel Brown is flying. Yes, it looked like he was on the street, but he's actually flying above their heads. Nicola Donini, Mikkel Wicci, and Maurice Kohler are very close together on the hike up to turn point 4.
Someone coming in on a fee wing at the moment, I think.
Yeah. Oh, and that must be somebody from the challenge category, but that might be Aaron on the Omega.
So we didn't have Lars not here on the live tracking because he didn't start it. So he seems to be first, and I will check his track.
Okay, okay, that's
Would be
Oh, Lars.
Lars, second Damien, on third Aaron.
oh wow, we have how do you
New
say?
information.
Surprise. Basically, apparently, the guy who we saw landing was not Damien. It was Lars Mestetter from Switzerland, which was not visible on the live tracking. And so apparently he's the
You
one
should
who.
recognize his wing sponsor actually.
Yeah,
'Cause we
true.
saw him land
We saw
yesterday.
him yesterday. I was wondering, yeah, and that explains why we saw only one pilot coming out and not two, because we have Damien and Aaron coming now really soon at the landing field.
So I'd be interested to know what Lars' strategy was because if he was faster than Aaron, surely he flew up.
And we just saw Aaron landing right in front of us. There we go. Yeah, so we actually we just saw Lars landing and then Damien and then Aaron right before rise. So at the moment, this looks like the provisional ranking. Of course, we will need to check Lars' backup truck in order to see which route he took and
I
what
suppose we could
strategy.
talk to him.
I'm sorry?
Or we could talk to him and ask him.
Yeah, no,
I think
as well.
he must have reflown from the turn point 3 because I just don't see how he could be so much faster than Aaron. Like,
True. I mean,
well,
he definitely was.
Aaron's been the first one up both times.
Yeah, he definitely was among the fastest guys even yesterday and the day before.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, to be such in advance before Aaron and Damian, they must have been flying. And you know, Damian, it took Damian a while to find some lift after turn point three. So maybe Lars was just faster to do that.
So I had a chat to Lars yesterday. He had some stories from supporting Kriegel in the most recent X Alps earlier this year. He was one of the ones that was called up last minute when they had a supporter team change. And yeah, what an adventure. It was a really good race this year in the X Alps with
Yeah.
lots of big flights.
And again, we're looking at you guys being more and more. Probably it's getting later and later in the morning in Europe. So thank you guys for being here, for following us and commenting. And yes, we will try and bring some of the pilots in front of the camera for you guys. We should be looking at Nicola Heininger and Remy Burdell coming pretty soon here at landing. In the meantime, going back in turn point 4, we also have Thomas Matera and Paul Guschbauer on their launching phase. It looks like Seb didn't make it to turn point 4 after his glide. He is now trying to tumble back up. So he only glided to half.
Must have been sinking in the lee there, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's probably close enough to the pilots hiking up the hill for them to see that someone's flying over the top of them.
Yeah. And as lucky as we are, we have just behind us Damien Lacaze with his glider. He's just landed. So maybe he wants to come here and give us a couple words. We just let him get out of his harness. No, no time to rest for him.
Get your water.
What a
Oh,
race!
wow.
Race. And what a surprise! I mean, there's not many chances that the live tracking is not working for some athletes, but what are the chances that it's going to be the first guy on goal? You know. And I think Dan Oberauer looked at Seb not making it, and or both of them decided to go back, and actually Dan already found a new thermal. So let's see if this looks much more vertical. It must be in some shadow wind for the moment. Wind shadow. And Nicola and Remy will be coming soon at the finish line.
Trust me. Trust. Thank you. You're welcome.
and we'll try and talk Damian into coming here and give us a few words, which apparently he will do very shortly. All right, and here we are with Damien. Congratulations. Congratulations. So how was the race for you today?
Uh, every day it was difficult to walk with this warm, and I don't like short race and don't don't train for that. And when I come here, I was expected some thermals and some good flight. So for the beginning, I was not very fitted, and this day on the third day, I feel better on this morning, maybe because of a bit of acclimatization, you know, and I managed to walk faster. And after I took the fly option after the first turn point we land.
We saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the wind was not good. We are in the lead, and Aaron and all the first guys choose to walk up, and yeah, I didn't want to walk for 1,500 meters today, so I wait a bit, 10 minutes, and became to be hungry, you know, what's going on? And I just wait a good cycle, take off safely, and then go in the canyon in the right side of the wind.
Yep.
And yeah, managed to climb slowly, and then better and better, and go on the turn point. Yeah, landed perfectly close to the turn point.
Yep.
I almost
You
signed
didn't
the turn
spend
point.
long up there.
Yeah, almost
Yeah.
signed the turn point with the wing over my head.
Yeah.
Just fall, sign, and go on, and
Yep.
catch Haron. He was opening his glider, and I took off just behind him.
Uh-huh.
And then yeah, it was full bar for 10 or 12 trays with
Yep.
strong thermals.
Yep.
And I made 2 turns
We saw that.
to overpass, try to overpass north because it was low, and yeah, maybe he can be stopped by a Venturi or no, I don't know. I
Yep.
tried to overpass him, but no, he win. But yeah, that's a good day.
So Lars's live tracking wasn't working, so it looked like you had overtaken Aaron. Well, we saw that, and
Yeah.
it looked like you were going to win. And then when we saw you coming, like, where's Aaron?
Yeah.
But did Lars? Do you know if he took the hiking option or if he
No,
flew like you? Or
my option was safer to reach goal in here, but I
Yep.
don't know. I don't know the wind will come like that, and I
Yeah.
think at the end of this glide he was pushing, and me
Yep.
I was more crosswind with
Yep.
strong thermal, and I can't push full bar all the time
Yep.
because it was a bit
Do,
turbulent.
do you know if he hiked up though, like Aaron, or did he fly from that turn point like you did?
Sorry.
From turn point 3 at the start,
Yeah.
did he hike up like Aaron, or did he
Yes,
fly like you?
yes, he took off maybe 100 meters above the turn point.
Oh, okay.
Start to walk and took off then.
Ah,
And so he stayed on the lee side and
Yep.
managed to climb here.
Yep.
I was on the other side. I saw him.
Yep.
And he landed on the turn point maybe 2 minutes before me.
yeah, cool. Yeah, I guess everyone was keeping an eye on each
Yeah.
other and seeing what's
Yeah.
working, what's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, but all the time I saw him climbing at the same speed like me, but 2Ks in
Closer.
front.
Yep.
And I say to myself, no, you stay here in the other side. It's in the lee. If you don't catch his thermal, you are landed.
Yep.
So I keep in the good thermal and then go up against the wind and try to reach him. But
Excellent.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty close anyway. Yes. So on the ground, we were wondering if you guys would be stuck because it's basically a marginal glide in still air. You'd probably make it, but yeah, as you said, you weren't sure whether you'd get headwind or whatever, and there was some quite strong headwind at times, and yeah, like during the race, it started to come this way.
Yeah.
It was pretty variable, so I think that's
Yeah.
fair enough that you
I
weren't
was
really sure what was going on.
about does devil or something like that, but no, it looks okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Damien, and congratulations for your second position today and for the race. I mean, all you guys managed it really, really well, but you guys were really fast, of course.
The next days will be like this one.
Sure. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Thanks.
And we'll wish a good rest to Damien, who definitely gave it a lot today, but as well it did a very smart decision. And I'm glad that basically pretty much everything Damien was telling us, we kind of spotted it from the live tracking, right?
Yeah, I mean, we just didn't spot Lars.
Exactly, exactly. We're just the only one we're missing. And we're looking right now at Remy and Nicola landing here at the finish line. as well as I guess there's somebody from the. Okay, Remy.
Maybe it's the local.
Maybe UG because we have no live tracking as well. Yes. Yeah, it looks like UG that one. Yeah. So we'll have them to check the tracks to see who was faster at the finish at the goal. But again, we have Remy, Yuji, and Nicola Heininger landing in this very moment.
It's fairly light winds here, but it's still been windy enough for all the pilots to turn into the down valley wind before touching down.
And going back to the pilots who are still flying to the finish line, we see Thomas Matera and Paul Guschelbauer will be the next to try and make it all here. They're a little bit lower than the other guys, looks like. So maybe they will have to put some attitude back in before coming here. And we have another pilot today here. Um, we have another pilot here talking with us. We have Lars Mechstetter, the one who it looks like won the title today, but we still have to verify that with his backup track because his live tracker was not working the whole time. But so Lars, how was your race today?
It was hard in the beginning, very hot again, steep ascent, and yeah, but finally we got in the air.
Yeah.
So Damien told us basically what happened. Like, when did you were you one of the first people to launch on the first flight today? I guess you were.
Yeah, I was maybe fifth person in the air on the
Yep.
first flight.
And then apparently you walked up a little way and then you decided to fly. And
Yeah,
Damien was watching you from the air.
yeah, I realized that on the first flight, I realized that in higher altitude there is very good climbs.
Yep.
And then I saw Damien. He took off on the lower takeoff where the start was, and I saw him scratching in the canyon. And so I knew when I take off higher, if I find nothing, at least I can go above Damien. And
Yep.
And so I decided to take off halfway towards the antenna on the road.
Yep.
And it went straight up, like weak in the beginning, and then very good climb to the antenna. But
Yeah, Damien said he saw you climbing and you were closer to the thermal and he thought of joining you, but he thought if it doesn't work, like it's better to stay in the thermal that I'm in. But you ended up getting in faster, so yeah.
yeah, Damien was further away from the antenna. He had the better climb in the end, but he
Mhm.
then had to glide maybe 2 k's towards the antenna, and I left the thermal 10 meters above the signboard and just fly in and yeah, signed. So
Yeah.
So we were wondering whether the best choice would be hiking or flying for 10.3, and you ended up doing a mix of the two, and this turned out to be the best decision at the end.
yeah, it looks like Aaron walked all the way up and Damien flew all the way up. But I could not have walked up that fast than Aaron. So for me, it was anyway the best decision.
Yeah, but that's what it's all about as well, is making the best of what you have and trying to make the smarter decision than the others. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really interested to know whether you'd flown or walked because I thought if he walked, he'd have to be faster than Aaron, and Aaron's pretty fast. So I know you were close, but yeah.
Oh, I realized I was with Nicola and Remy on the 10.3, and then they started pushing again, and I could not follow. And I was like, yeah, with hiking, I have no chance, so I have to try something.
Yep.
But I heard my live tracking was not working.
Yeah,
It's sad if your one's good and then it's not working.
you might lose some points for that. I don't know.
No, no, it's
Well,
We'll just have to check your backup track, and it's gonna be fine. Well, yeah. Well, congratulations on today's flying and today's racing. You did a really amazing job.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so see you in tomorrow's task.
Let's see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Cheers. What else is happening? How are the others going?
We've seen a few more pilots landing, so let's go back to the live tracking, and I believe we saw Nicola Heininger and I'm sorry, no, Nicola Heininger and Remy Bourdelle already landed. So the next one were Thomas Matera, which must be coming here shortly. But yeah, I think we have Nicola and Remy, yeah, right here in the pilots area. Let's go back to turn point 3 and see what are the guys doing. Something between 3 and 4. Oh, we have Seb climbing up back up again.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's just probably loving the time in the air. Like
Right.
I remember at the skyscraper, he wasn't in a real rush to finish the task.
That's
He was
true.
just enjoying the view.
But in the meantime, Dan O'Brower made it to the top.
Oh yep.
Maybe he didn't make it all the way to the turn point, but it looks like he landed some. Oh no, sorry, no. This is a yellow truck. It's not him. Yeah, but he the red truck. Yeah, Dan O'Brower. Yeah, he made it. He made it to the turn point 4 and is already on his flight to the finish line.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, we just saw somebody from the challenge category landing here. Again, there are 12 pilots in the challenge category this year. It's something that will probably be replicated in the next editions. So that's definitely a very valid option if you still want to experience the Dubai racing experience without being among the super pros.
I mean, it's always good to not have to walk up to another rocky turn point, isn't it?
True. And we finally have some live footage from the landing area back. So we'll probably be able to show you some of the guys landing in the next minutes. There we go. This is the pilot from the challenge category. It is just landed. I'm back on live tracking. We are looking at Seb trying a second glide to the top. This time it looks much higher. It looks like he's possibly going to make it, or at least going to make it high enough to then just do a little hike.
There's still a few people that he'll be overtaking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
there's Nico Ricci and Nicola Donini, Morris Collar, sorry, and Nicola Donini almost on top. Pauline Muller looks like she's kind of a little bit off track. I don't know if we lost her tracking as well, or okay, she's good. So maybe she landed somewhere else and is now taking a different route up to the turn point 4. So next people coming to go will probably be Thomas Matera, Paul Wischelbauer, and Daniel O'Brower, who also made a flying decision. It worked out better for him than for Seb Ospina. This is the view from the landing area and also from where we are. So you can see the nice puffy cumulus clouds on the mountain. The weather looks pretty good. We see somebody else coming now. It could be Thomas, or it could be Thomas Matera, or it could be somebody from a challenge. I think that's Thomas Matera over there.
Oh yeah.
Looking at somebody coming from quite further. Right, and apparently we do have some more camera feed coming in soon, so we're probably gonna be able to show you some of the landings as well. And we're looking at Thomas Matera coming in, followed by Paul Guschelbauer. Shortly after, we will see Dan Oberauer, who again made the flying choice, which paid out really well, like for Damien. And apparently also Seb Ospina still didn't make it to 10.4 and is still trying to climb back up. Not easy for him today, huh? Or maybe he's just enjoying flying in this amazing terrain.
He might be calling out to the people hiking up the hill saying, "Why didn't you fly? It's nice up here."
Yeah, true, yeah, probably. Looks like Thomas Matera just landed, so as soon as we have
He's landed more to the side. The wind's coming more from the ocean, yeah?
Verify.
so we're looking at clouds, scouting for some pilots to
Cloud
come.
camp.
Yeah. And again, you might be hearing some more noise in the next 2 minutes because people are coming around here. We are close to the race direction as well. And we're looking at more and more pilots coming in, one after the other.
Guschelbauer just landed.
So we're looking at Thomas Matera approaching. We're looking at Thomas Matera now approaching the landing. And again, we're looking at the screen at Thomas Matera landing. Of course, this is a slight delayed image due to the live streaming setup. And so from here, we already saw Thomas landing and also Paul Guschelbauer coming shortly after. But you will see that in a few seconds.
Lovely.
Nice landing from Thomas. And as well, all of our media group is always around the athletes, trying to capture images that then will be shared. They will be shared on Instagram. So be sure to follow us at UAE Hike&Fly Championship. At 1 hour.
How's Seb Ospina going? Has he
we're
landed?
not yet. He's still flying, but just wanted to still show
Oh, yeah.
the live footage of Paul Guschelbauer landing and approaching now here at the finish line.
Sure.
Beautiful, beautiful images. Here he goes. As you can see, the wind is a little bit changeable, gusting and coming from all sorts of different direction here. but mostly westerly, northwesterly side quadrants. We can see here Paul making up his wing, ready to go out of the rocky and sandy area to pack it nicely for the night.
Yep, our camera people have come out of the wild, and we've got footage again.
Yeah, exactly. It's finally almost at the end of the race. We got some camera footage, but better late than never. That's how they say, no? And going back on the live tracking, Seb is still struggling to make it to turn point 4. I mean, he
He's
made
in the ridge.
yeah, Sundri, exactly. He managed to get higher in a much better place now, so he must be making it to the turn point pretty much soon.
That part of the ridge is super steep, so it should be easy to soar, but if it doesn't, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. So the situation so far. Let's
Temporary.
well, let's see a temporary situation so far.
So
We have Lars Merstetter as first one, Damien Lacaze second, and Aaron Turgati as third.
Yeah.
Followed by
Then
Nicola.
three pilots are living almost together.
Okay.
So for me, it's Nicolas and Remy, but I have to check for Helmut, correct?
Okay. We have Nicola Heininger, Remy Budel, and Helmut. They were coming in pretty close together, so we still have to check who is fourth, fifth, or sixth. Then followed by Thomas Matera and Paul Buschbauer, who just landed, and Daniel Barara will follow shortly. I think he already made the end of the space section turn point, and we will see him landing really soon. We're trying to provide you with some live footage of the next active landing. So again, Seb is now gliding to turn point 4, and just minutes ago, Mikkel Witchy and Nicola and Maurice Koller took off from turn point 4. So probably they will be the next ones to make it to the finish line. We have Daniel Oberauer coming very shortly here at the landing. And next ones on takeoff again is going to on turn point 4 will be again Seb Ospina going for top land, Nicola Donini and Paulina Müller as well. So. We also did lose some other live tracking. There's a Stanislav Meyer also approaching the landing really soon. So we will see him landing as well. Apparently, it looks like Stanislav made it to the finish line before Dan Oberauer, but we will have to check that, of course, on the tracking system before providing a final ranking. And again, weather-wise, it still looks pretty good. So even the athletes a little bit further back in the race will definitely have a nice flying conditions.
Okay.
Right now, we're looking at two pilots approaching the landing area. Those will be Stanislav Meyer from Czech Republic, will be the first one landing, shortly followed by Daniel Oberauer. Again, also Stanislav, I think his live tracking was a bit was not working the whole time, so we will have to verify his secondary track. But apart from that, we can see him landing now. Definitely. There you go. And once again, we already know he was going to be shortly followed by Daniel Oberauer, so we expect to see him landing anytime soon. And there he goes. Daniel Oberauer from Austria, 35 years old, going for the landing here at the finish line of today's task of the UAE Hike&Fly Championship. The two guys were really close together. Dan made the choice of flying. We will see what Stanislav did. Actually, we have Stani coming already quite close here, so maybe we'll get a chance of interviewing him later on.
Hi guys, how are you? Is it everything okay? I want to show you what's
like that.
Jebel this.
All right, and going back, we see here Stanislav collecting his glider before going to the packing area. Stanislav is a very interesting athlete. He's quite pushy flying, also very strong on the ground.
Yeah, he's done aerobatics flying as well.
Yeah, as well. Yeah.
First met him back in 2014 in the XP.
Yeah. Nice. And we can see here Stanislav and Dan and Thomas giving them, high fives. It's, this is what we're saying. It's nice about this kind of races is that, we're all competitors. The guys are always pushing to be first, but at the end, they also enjoy sharing this experience together and making new friendships and congratulating to each other. That's also what it's all about. Right? It's all about the fun and it's all about the experience. All right, so going back at the live tracking, let's see what the situation is. We have Michael Witchy and Maurice Koller on their way. We should see them quite soon. And it looks like Seb finally made it to turn point 4 after a few attempts. And so
Persistence.
yeah, exactly. Persistence, perseverance, yeah. He's definitely the guy who flew the most in today's class. And together with him, Nico Bonini, Ellie Egger, and Gabriel Jensen. I mean, Ellie and Gabriel are still a little bit below the turn point, but they're still pushing it to the top. And still quite far back down, we have Moreno, Parmesan, and it looks like Melina as well. Yes, Melina Vinci and Moreno Parmesan are together from Italy. And we have Reto Reiser quite far back, which is quite surprising for me, because Reto usually quite a strong hiker, as well as a very strong flyer. So we will, maybe we have No, it's okay. It looks like his tracking is working properly. I was just checking if we had some tracking problems. But it will be interesting maybe to interview him and see what went wrong today. As well as Vezo looking like he's on a car ride because he's coming back down on the road. So I assume he must have withdrawn from today's task. You know, it's always very easy to be here in the shadow, nice breeze, commenting what these guys are doing. But I mean, for them, it's a very, very tough experience. The heat is very challenging, and the whole terrain is brutal. Even just, mentally to be flying in this terrain is not easy at all.
I forgot to ask the guys we talked to how much water they drink.
How much water, right? That's the next good question for next people. But we are estimating 1.5 liters each, pretty much.
How's connection? Still good connection?
So yeah, we have information that athletes were drinking at least 1.5 liters of water during the race. Probably close to 1 liter on the first hike, and then they had a refill on the first takeoff, so they have a reservoir for the rest of the task. Yeah, some of them, of course, didn't need it because they were just flying after that, like Damien and Daniel Brower. Yeah, we must be looking at Witchy and so Michael Witchy and Maurice Collar coming pretty soon. It looks like Seb Ospina is still enjoying. Oh no, that's his coming truck now. So it's also now trying flying. I mean, still, these guys are still in very good position. So I guess on the final glide, it's worth to push a little bit and try not to lose any ranking positions. And Niccolo Donini is also in the air right now. Peter Bergdolt will be taking off shortly from the last point as well. You can see wind is blowing. It's not too strong, but definitely not too light as well.
Still down valley, as it
Yeah.
has been since the first athlete came
Yeah,
into land.
she's definitely helping on the way here. We're looking at some more pilots coming in soon. Maybe somebody from the challenge category, or maybe it could be somebody. It could be Michael Witchy. But it looks like Michael is still too far away to be this one. All right, so we're still looking at live tracking. Some more pilots are making it to turn point 4. We also have Paulina, first girl of today's task, just took off from turn point 4. So we will see. Ailey is not far behind her, but she's still climbing up the hill. So if nothing really exceptional happens, I mean, unless Pauline doesn't make it to the finish line, she might be the first woman in today's task. And as you can probably hear from the noise behind us, we have pilots packing their gliders around here. We are close to the pilots area where they are resting and taking back some energy after this very big attempt of today's task. Looking at tracking, we see Michael Witchy and Maurice Kohler must be landing here anytime soon.
When are you going to fire, right? My house is on fire.
And we have on camera, we have some more people making it to the goal. Still too far to see who he is, but this actually looks like Michael Witchy on his glider. Their cameramen are scouting the sky, looking for all the others pilots that are becoming totally after. As you see, the windsock is destroying down valley wind. And we're looking at the western side of the ridge where the pilots are flying along before reaching the finish line here. Yes, and it definitely looks like this is Michael Witchy approaching. From Switzerland, age 45. So I would say in the top range of age. Again, Hike&Fly is
In the top range.
I was going to say Hike&Fly is a physically demanding activity, but especially when the races are longer, given that with age you gain more flying experience and also your body becomes more energy saving. We see a lot of top athletes in a slightly higher age range compared to other sports like physical activities. In general, endurance activities are usually the peak condition is around 40. I mean, you can be at top level at 40 with no problem.
Well, Kriegel's around that age.
Sorry?
Kriegel's around that age and he's still winning.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's 42. No,
No, he's
or 40, 41.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's the Austrian helmet?
Helmet's 47 or 48.
Yeah, so he was pretty quick up the hill yesterday. I noticed.
Yeah.
In the top 10, I think.
It's definitely in a very good shape. And again, we're looking at more and more pilots flying towards the finish line. I mean, when you see lots of pilots completing the task, it means that the task was good, usually.
Yep, but yeah, there was even on this short task there was some variation in how you could do it.
Yeah. We definitely had a couple pilots withdrawing from task today, which is kind of normal, I would say, in a one-day task because everybody's pushing as much as they can, and so it's easy to get a little bit over your limit. And we can see Michael Witchy from Switzerland landing at the parking lot right now. Beautiful landing from Michael. Let's try to see if we can spot who's gonna be next after Michi. We surely had Morris Collar, but also looking at a different pilot, so we'll have to figure that out later maybe. And it looks like Seb Ospina finally had his shot to come here at the finish line. You can see Michael Ricci collecting his glider, getting ready to pack.
We were talking this morning, me and Michael, about the funny aircraft that he flies. He does some gliding as well, but there's also something that's basically in between. It's faster than a paraglider, but pretty slow, and it's basically a one-person glider that weighs less than 100 kilograms.
Yeah, and we can see also Maurice Kohler coming from landing now, approaching. He'll shortly followed by Alex Villa. So Maurice from Austria, age 26, definitely in the lower range this time, but also very strong athlete, very fast runner, powerful runner as well. All of these guys took the walking strategy, so decided to hike the mountain all the way to turn point 4 before flying up here. And again, the wind is sometimes picking up, sometimes going down. And we see Alex Villa from Colombia landing shortly after Maurice. So we'll have to check who was first between the two. Oops, a little bit of a slide on the rocks. That's what you don't want to do for your harness, especially this very light equipment. We can still see Vezo coming back by car.
Oh,
They definitely stopped its race. But next one's coming will be Seb Ospina together with Nico Bellini following soon after. And then again, depending on how their flight is going, we'll have also Peter Bergdold and Pauline Müller from Germany, hopefully making it to the end. So of course we're trying to showing you as much image as we can, but we'll also definitely probably stop the live anytime soon after a few more athletes are coming in. And you can see our energy puppy here on screen, Lorenzo. Is definitely one of the most important people in the organization, keeping the energy up, the energy levels up at all times. Me are the boring ones, trying to explain as much as we can, and he's the more fun guy.
someone honked the horn. Is that Veso or?
Yeah, probably that's Vessel honking the horn.
Yeah, it's pretty hot out there. Like it's a pretty heavy effort to hike up the hill, and then if it doesn't work out with the flying, and you have to hike again. I guess it's pretty demoralizing.
Yeah, and looks like Seb Ospina will be coming shortly at landing. And you can see behind us, some pilots are packing their gliders. They got some rest, and now they're getting ready We're gonna have a prize giving ceremony in about an hour and 10 minutes, and we will of course stop the live streaming before that.
So you can see there's a bunch of cliffs behind us. Basically, the whole 360-degree view is rocky ridges and cliffs everywhere.
Yeah, it's a very scenic environment, I would say. You definitely get the feeling that you're in the desert. And yes, definitely Seb Ospina should be landing anytime soon. And we also have Nick Donini coming quite soon after. There you go, Seb, from Colombia, approaching his landing.
I remember last task I was flying with Nick,
Right.
who's coming in after Seb shortly, and yeah, his wing was flapping around the whole time, and it was because he'd broken his wing on the rocks. He'd
Yeah.
cut some lines, or maybe the camping
Pretty
as well.
common, pretty common in this place.
Yep.
I think Seb did an interesting race today. I mean, he was definitely the guy flying the most time. Um, if he, if he managed to climb a little bit faster at some points, he would definitely be much faster. There you go. You can see the wind picking up. It's changed direction again a little bit slightly, and it's definitely gusting a little bit. And we are looking at Veso just coming off from the car together with Reto Reiser. So maybe that's why his spot was so far behind. They both stopped their race and came here by car. Yeah, we have a privileged point of view here on the race. We can see coordinate our speech and our thoughts on the live streaming as well. And you can see our camera guys going for some interviews. Again, make sure to follow us on Instagram at UAE Hike&Fly Championship to be always updated on this content. And that's Seb walking into the athlete area for some well-deserved shade, rest, food, and water.
Let's see how the girls are doing on live tracking.
Right.
Well,
So,
how everyone's doing, I suppose.
yeah, I mean, I think Nico Donini is going to be landing soon, and Peter Bergdahl soon after. Let's see where Paulina's here. She's also on her way. She's following pretty much the same route as the others, as you can see. And fun fact, she's the only one on a B glider, as opposed to everybody else being on a high performance Hike&Fly D wing. So that's definitely a disadvantage for her. But she's only been flying for 3 years, so that's still impressive that she is here today and
Yeah.
performing this well as well.
Really, you want to fly a glider which you feel the best for flying in, and it's going to make you fly the most. Like if you fly something that scares you, you might not want to fly as much.
True.
Yeah, it's better to make sure that you enjoy the gliding, and if you move up glider classes too early, it
Yeah.
might not be so fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always been a big fan of like using your glider at its best possibilities before even thinking about switching to a more advanced one.
It's,
And we can see Nicola Donini from Italy, 27-year-old, approaching the landing. Perfect landing for Nick. There we go. He also did really well today. He decided for the hiking approach as opposed to the flying approach, which is not very common for him. I know him very well, and usually he's always trying to fly as much as he can, as he doesn't like hiking too much. And I believe who we are looking at now is Peter Bergdold from Germany, approaching his landing. He's also a very, very fast hiker. And thank you very much, guys, for your comments. Finally, we managed to have a decent quality, actually good quality this time. And where's Noe? Is Jose is asking. Noe withdrew from the task halfway, pretty much. He basically didn't make it to turn point 3, and had to go back and try to build some height, but he couldn't, and so he had to land down at the bottom of the valley. And shortly after, he decided to stop the race and withdraw. He was not the only one today. Also, Vezo Ovkarov from Bulgaria and Peter Reiser from Switzerland decided to stop the race halfway. Again, the conditions are far from friendly here. Extreme heat and very, very steep hikes. Do not make it easy at all to compete in this environment.
Let's have a chat to Beso if he's over there.
Looking at the live tracking, next on course should be Pauline Muller, possibly first woman making it to the finish line today. We're gonna see if she has enough altitude. She looks like a bit low from live tracking at the moment, but we will see. Worst case, she will have to hike to run on the last bit of the race.
She's got a good tailwind.
Yeah,
At least as she gets closer to the ground, anyway.
that's true.
Should be able to see it.
The wind has picked up a little bit the last minute as we're speaking, as we're looking at Pauline on her final glide. And again, as usual, this live tracking is brought to us by Relief Maps, our partner this year again. And I remind you that if you click on the link down below in the description of this video, you can access the direct link to the live tracking.
It's alright.
And the link will be the same for the whole race, so you can access that anytime and follow the action here in the United Arab Emirates. We should see Pauline coming from the mountain anytime soon.
Oh, yep, I see her in the air now. She's probably going to make it in.
Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe if she hits a little bit of down of sink, oh, she's gonna make it. Maybe, yeah, she's
Yeah,
gonna make
she's
it.
got a tailwind.
Yeah.
She just needs to give herself enough height to turn around before, yeah, skidding over the gravel.
Yeah, she's tired, but she's gonna make it for sure. Very, I would say, astonishing performance by Pauline. As again, her experience is definitely not the same as the one of the other pilots. Yet she's a very skilled hiker and runner.
Oops, got a bit of lift.
Yep. And as we're waiting for the images of Paulina approaching, let's see who's next. We have Ellie Egger, second woman, following the short after Paulina, and Gabriel from Brazil. And now actually we got back the image of Pauline just landed. Pauline Müller, first woman making it to the goal today. Very, very impressive performance on our side.
Well, it's just about time for lunch.
I guess so, yes. So as the athletes are keep coming, all right, and with these beautiful images of Pauline after her landing, she really did an impressive race today. And we go back on the live tracking. Uh, I would say that we're pretty much almost done with the athletes. So by looking at the live tracking, we just realized that basically we have only two pilot missing. They're on their glide. That will be Eli Egger and Gabriel Jansen from Brazil, and everybody else withdrew as I was looking at Melina's track and Moreno's track along the road, possibly going back with the car. So as far as we're concerned, I guess we're going to be waiting for the last two guys landing, hopefully showing you um, the images of the landing as well, and then we're going to call it a day for this live stream, as we've been going on for over almost 4 hours now. And in the meantime, if we're lucky enough, we might have some pilot who wants to talk with us maybe. Let's see if we can reach anybody. And as lucky as we are sitting here with Pauline Müller, who did an amazing performance today. So would like to ask her a few impressions of her race. And so, how was your race today, Pauline?
It was great. It was exhausting, challenging, but I'm very happy to be here right now.
Nice. Yeah, I think you did an amazing performance. You were hiking really fast, but also the flying was pretty well executed. I mean, did you have any issues on the first flight getting to the turn point 3? Did you manage to land close to the turn point, or did you have to hike?
Yes, I managed to the turn point. I arrived a little too low, and then I was about to land on the street down. But then I got a turn again and managed to fly up again and land on the turnpike.
Okay, nice. And then it was another fast hike to the turn point 4.
Yes.
And how was the flight here? Was it easy to make it here, or was it?
Yeah, I think it was really close. I saw one of the other guys flown by, and they were so much faster than me. Of course, I mean, I have not the high wings that they have. But yeah, I tried to catch everything I could get, and yeah, I think I just made it exactly.
We were really tired. We were watching you coming, and we were wondering, yes. But yeah, once again, really good job. Well done for today's task, and you are the first woman in goal. And Ellie is following not far from you, but she's going to be coming anytime soon. Well done, Blaine.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So there it was for Pauline Müller, doing a very great job today. Again, she's probably not the most experienced pilot in this competition, but she is a very fast hiker, and that's what paid off today, and that's what probably is going to pay off in all short tasks like this. Yeah, tomorrow's task, actually, we had a slight change of plans as opposed to what first scheduled due to the weather. So the al-Khaima task number 4, which was supposed to be on
Well, we're supposed to have a rest
Wednesday.
day tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
So we pushed it ahead.
Yeah, because the wind forecast is going to be tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be hard tomorrow. The fire task is going to be a little bit more flyable. I mean, it's very little hiking and a lot of flying, especially fast flying. So we'll see who's going to be advantaged tomorrow. But as far as from today, we are waiting for the last 2 athletes to make it to the goal. Eli Egger and Gabriel Jensen. And again, guys, if you're still here watching us, thank you very much for your persistence and your patience. And as well here at base camp, life is getting more and more busy. More and more athletes are getting here. Soon also some important people from al-Khaima Emirates will join us for the prize giving ceremony, which will be held in about an hour at 3 o'clock. And I assume most of the challenge category pilots as well have made here, either flying or by car. Because we didn't see many of them landing actually. Just 3 of them.
That's it.
Yeah. That again shows how difficult it can be to approach these kind of short tasks. Very technical, very fast hiking, fast packing and unpacking, and fast flying. and the wind kind of got a little bit softer right now here at the landing area as we're waiting for Eli and Gabriel. It looks like Gabriel took advantage of his weight and overpassed Eli, which is definitely a light pilot, so struggling on the glides at full bar. So we will see who is gonna come first at the finish line.
In they come. Oh, haven't spotted them yet. Looking up at the hill. They're going to be up there somewhere.
Yep, not yet. We just saw. Oh, there is somebody coming. Might be them. Yes. So, from our point of view, we
Yes,
can
I see them.
spot them.
They look
coming.
very high.
Yeah, very high, especially compared to Paulina.
Yeah.
Who is much lower.
Probably not racing to come in. They just want to make sure they make it.
Yeah. Yeah, and anyway, it makes like no sense to come super low as the cylinder. I mean, you can tag the cylinder on the finish line, but of course, the higher you go, the more time you lose. And as we're speaking, I just said that the wind was getting milder, but we just experiencing some more stronger gusts of wind.
Must be a thermal behind us.
I'm sorry?
Good.
Very good. We have another pilot here with us today, Veso Ovtoroff from Bulgaria. So Veso, how was your experience today?
Well, it felt much hotter than last time, but actually we were advised to take some different routes. It was a really nice trail with many steps, and we arrived kind of in a good timing. But then I underestimated the conditions. I didn't take any of the lifts. We attacked straight at turn point, and then on the way back, the wind changed. We hit a wall of wind, bomb out, hike again, sign, and then it was like 35K katabatic, and I stopped my race.
Okay, interesting. So you think it was not possible to take off anymore from there?
Not in a safe manner, and even if you take off, was 90.9 you going down with collapses. So I take safe decision this time anyway. The people were already far in front, so I need to train more for the hike. It's more of a hike.
Yeah, we talked to Damien and he took off there, but he just had to wait for the right moment. And I mean, it might have got worse in the time that you got there, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
tricky.
overall was exciting, and people obviously did it well. I make a mistake, and also I was under the bottom of my weight range of the glider. That doesn't help.
No, not at all.
And yeah, so next time.
How much water did you drink?
I drink 1.5 liters, and when I arrive to the third turn point, I think I drink another 2 liters, and my watch tell me that I need 4 days of recovery.
It's a big effort for me today, for sure.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Veso, for being with us today and sharing your experience today.
Pleasure. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
All right, and so you see, again, it's very easy for us and for you guys at home to, just watch these guys and imagine what they are doing, but they are really experiencing some hardcore efforts, especially due to the heat and the terrain.
So we've got our pilots coming in shortly. They've got hurdles of height.
Yeah, I must assume most of these are the challenge category pilots, as
I see three in the air.
yeah, I can see three in the air coming. We're only waiting for Gabriel coming very shortly, and then Eli shortly after. And you can see a landing party, a lot of people coming in. you have any idea of what gliders these guys have, or no? You don't have a list of the gliders, right? Or no, just to see who is who. And I think we got UGA Moto back. We lost his flight tracking, but this must be UGA Moto coming. And yeah, there he is. You can see Yuji Emoto landing from Japan, lives in Chamonix, mountain guy, as well in the top range of the age, top of the age range. And as well, some on the tracking. We see we see Eli coming in incredibly high over the finish line. Whereas Gabriel, maybe that was actually this. Maybe this was Gabriel landing. Uh, this is definitely one of the athletes from the challenge category, and this is Gabriel Janssen with the orange glider. Gabriel Janssen, who just landed, was also doing a very good race. We're looking now at Yuji walking back to pack his glider. And we're looking at Gabriel collecting his glider, showing interview with some uh, video guys. And again, we're only waiting for Ali to approach her landing, and then we will then close today's task here in Jebel of the UAE Hike&Fly Championship. We just saw the Padua organizer and race director walking by on screen. One of the men that made all of this possible. And Ailey should be coming anytime soon, unless she wants to go for a nice cross-country detour somewhere. We'll take a look if we have any other pilot to interview around here. Oh yeah, we're looking at Eli Egger landing right now. So this is Eli from Austria.
And we one to fly in.
Yeah, it should be the last pilot flying in. I'm not sure, but by looking from here, if this is Eli or Gabriel, to be honest, or somebody else. Um, All right, but in the meantime, luckily enough, we have Nick Rodonini here with us, giving maybe a little bit of his perception of today's task. So, Nick, how was it for you today?
Yeah, for me it was quite tough because I had to work two times, one for the first 3 point and the second time was for the 3.3. Someone I think took off from them. I still have to watch talk with the others, but yeah, what was quite dangerous today is there was a big uh, breeze wind from the sea, so we were completely in this side. And so yeah, I decided to when I landed to go up by walking and it was quite tough because yeah the heat and all not rail, so that was a quite fun race.
How much water did you drink during this today's test?
What sorry?
How much water did you drink?
Ah, I don't know. For the first hike, almost 2 liters, and then I had 1.5 liter for the second one. And I was washing myself a lot also because yeah, the heat is incredible here. So yeah,
All right, well, thank you very much, Nick, and congratulations for your test today.
thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and as she walks closer, I think we can confirm that's Ellie right there. Yes. I will add some doubt her distance, but now we can confirm that's Ellie Egger, who landed as the last pilot to complete the race, and the second woman to come in at the finish line in today's task. So she also did an amazing race. Um, and given that all the other pilots withdrew, I would say that as far as we're concerned, we can soon call it a day for as far as this live stream is concerned. So it was interesting task today, wasn't it? It was an interesting task today, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Yeah, there's a few different options, both walking up the hill to start with, and then some people opted to fly and they managed to overtake the people who hiked. But it was difficult conditions to take off, so that was one of the things you had to decide. Like, should I wait here until it's for the right moment to take off when it's a little cycle's coming up and I can get off safely, or should I just pack up the bag and go up the hill? And once your wings out, you're more inclined to fly. And once you've got everything packed, you're like, should I take it out because it's going to take me a long time to get back again? But yeah, it was an interesting mix of strategies.
Yeah. Yeah, so pilots were waiting close to 20 minutes on takeoff, which is nerve-wracking in this kind of races, especially on short tasks, as you know, every minute it can be a position in the ranking, so you never want to wait. But this time for Damian, it actually worked because waiting on takeoff for the right moment, it let him overpass a few pilots that were hiking. But yeah, once again, this is probably, I would say this is the most difficult and most interesting task of the whole race in general, because it mixes very hard hiking with a little bit of strategy and a little bit of flying as well. So it was very interesting to be here today with you guys and try to see what's happening and explain it to you.
And as for the camera footage out on the trail, you'll have to come here and visit yourself because there's no luck with getting the footage back through the
I mean,
mobile data that way.
yeah, we are in the best place, and we also had some connection issues at some point. So once again, thank you everybody for being here, and especially if you're still watching, thank you for sticking here so long. It was a over 4 hour marathon, so we're really happy that everything pretty much worked well today, technically speaking, and we remind you that the next task will be already tomorrow, probably in the afternoon here in the Emirates, so close to late morning time for Europe. And so we hope to see you again tomorrow. Enjoy, have fun, and see you there.